All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We're back tonight. We're playing more Eternal Lies, our ongoing campaign. This is episode 44. Did we ever do like a pool on how many episodes it's going to take? Should we do that?
I don't think we did.
We did not.
I said it was going to be more than 44, so I am getting paid out.
Okay. Well, Eternal Lies is like a mega campaign. Similar to like Mask of Nyarlathotep and everything. I never mentioned the author, so I'm gonna do that for once. Will Hidmarch, Jeff Tidball, and Jeremy Keller are like credited on the thing, and they wrote it for Trail of Cthulhu. But Steven didn't want to learn Trail of Cthulhu, so we're playing it for Call of Cthulhu, and that's what we're doing here. So what do we think? Like 44. Like where do we think we're going? How anyone want to throw out a number? Throw out a guess.
112.
Oh my God.
Holy crap. We're sure we're on the third.
Wow.
Let's say Ashley's 112. She's locked in.
I'm going 69.
Nice.
Okay. Hey, Stephen, can you just shush for a second? Go ahead, Bob. What were you going to say?
Oh, I just said double it.
You're going to...
So 88?
224?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Okay, so Long's got 88. Okay. Steven, you said 69 because you're a child. Got it. Okay. All right. Melissa, Maitreyi, you want to throw out a number? Writing these down.
I'm a little bit over wondering, so like 76.
Okay. All right.
Are we doing Price is Right rules where it's like closest without going over?
Steven.
Melissa's going to drop it. She's going to say one. It's going to go one episode.
She'll make her beds right now.
I mean, I always have that control. So if we're going to put money on it, whatever number I say, that's what it is.
Right.
Yeah. What do we think, Melissa?
I'll go 70.
70? You guys are crazy.
You did the Price is Right to me.
I did.
But that does technically mean, though, since we're not doing, you can go over in this little game of ours. So does this mean that anything between now and episode 69, you've got? It's pretty good.
That
man.
is
That's
true.
a good stretch. Whereas Melissa only has between 70 and 75.
Yeah.
She's got
I have a very narrow window.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can tell you.
So I'm just going to
Highly unlikely it's going to be in that window. Yep. Okay. Like Long's got a decent window, and then Ashley's got 112 or above. If it goes 112, I don't think it's going to go 112. I think, I would guess we're roughly midway point, maybe a touch past. I think that's where we're at. So I do think Long's idea of like 88.
Yeah.
That sounds about right. Like I think if we can, like my goal, and this is my goal would be to try to finish up this year. I was saying to Melissa, I'm like, if we go into a third calendar year with this, that could be interesting. That would be 2024, 2025, and 2026. I don't think we've done that yet. Because I think even One Ring, we were able to get it done, didn't we?
We have been doing breaks, though. Like, we've been doing mini campaigns in between. We didn't really do that.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. And we might need to do another one after Ethiopia. It sounds like. We'll see. Possibly. I don't know. We're going to play that by ear. But okay. All right. So they're locked in. I'm going to guess, let's see. I don't want to screw over Long. That's mean. But I'll screw over Maitreyi, and I'll say 77. So if I say 77, that gets me everything from 77 to 87. And I feel pretty confident about that.
Legit.
That to me feels like a really good window. So
that was a strategic guess.
Very strategic. Yeah.
I probably should have adjusted
Especially
mine.
because Jeff can specifically decide if it's going to be
Right.
76 or 77.
It could be 44. It could be 44 right now.
44.
It could be that right now.
You heard it here. Jeff fudges while GMing.
See, I should have adjusted.
I don't know if I would put it that way. When I roll the die, I roll the die. I would, like, if I'm rolling the die, I'm rolling the die. Like, and like I'm going by what's rolled. But sometimes I won't roll. So if I don't roll, that's my rule. Like whenever I roll the die, I want to be true to whatever comes up. I don't want to like.
That's
just,
legit. I think I heard the same thing. That makes sense. I like that.
Yeah. But there'll be plenty of times where like, you don't need to roll.
Yeah.
We were talking. So I was talking this morning with both Melissa and Stephen about whether we're gonna make is Saturdays just gonna be like our long campaign days. Is that just it? We're just gonna do long campaigns on Saturdays.
Like
we did One Ring.
Good,
now we're doing this.
It's always so consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most. Yeah, it's definitely a very consistent game. So I'm already thinking, even though I'm a good, I don't know, 7, 8. We're probably probably about 7, 8 more months. I'm already thinking about what that next big campaign is going to be. I have a couple options in my mind right now, so we'll see. It's not.
Jeff has
it's
the
not
next 8 years of lollygagging planned out.
Well, the other part of that was just like I'm getting a little older, and these are long campaigns. They take a year or so, and I'm thinking, how much longer am I able to do this? Miss hates when I talk like this. She hates when I talk like this. I'm like, I have a finite amount of long campaigns that I could run, and I got to really start making those selections count. I can't just pick anything. I got to pick something that's quality.
Jeff, you're 23.
We got to start taking this seriously, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh goodness! Why didn't anyone say?
Just saying. That's fine. It's fine. Anyhow. And if you start counting down like how many, never mind.
No.
Melissa doesn't want me to do it. All right. So speaking of running out of time, let's talk about what the hell's going to happen to Beth.
Actually, I'm going to go ahead and interrupt you. Just so that you are aware that you have a complication courtesy of Mark.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you, Mark. All right. Hey, we get to play with Mark tomorrow. I'm very excited.
Just in time for me to die.
we also got some bits, but I know you need to know that you have a complication.
Yeah, I'm not allowing those anymore. There's going to be a conversion rate. All those are going to become GM complications so that we can end on episode 44, which is today.
All your dice belong to me.
God, could you imagine? We've only done one. We've only had one. Like we only did one TPK. That was. Oh, should I spoil it? Fuck it. Simbaroom. That was Simbaroom. We had a TPK in Simbaroom. So, and that's the only one I think we've had. Can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I don't think unless we had something that was short run that was a like most party.
It doesn't really count. I meant like something that had a little bit of heft, like at least 12.
Something substantial.
Yeah. So if it's just like a 2-shot or a 3-shot, like that's no big deal. Okay. That was pretty.
We like our characters. We want them to live long.
I mean, I like some of your characters.
Prosper.
The ones I don't like, I get rid of.
Yes, he stares at me.
Okay, hold on, Ashley. There's only one character he's gotten rid of so far.
Has there? Who?
No, we don't talk about it.
We don't remember who
For
he
good
is.
reason. Good reason.
That dude was
Okay. The murderer? I mean, the guy who murdered a dude?
It was self-defense.
This argument is an evergreen argument between Jeff and Steven at this point.
Self-defense.
The guy charged him. He had no choice.
You broke into his office. You broke into his place.
Exactly. Castle defense. That's what Pastor Wood did.
Oh my
Like
God,
I said, evergreen.
All right. Last time around. Summary time. Ashley likes this because it means your character doesn't die yet. So after a few days rest in Djibouti, you departed in a caravan. It was facilitated by your French Foreign Legion contacts and basically bribed by the Winston Rogers Pharmaceutical Company. So you had 3 trucks, 3 drivers. You had a local afar guide who went by Jerome. Room was very tight in these trucks. Go supplies, trade goods, all that kind of stuff, but you made do. And after the first day of travel, you made camp inside this very shallow canyon. Will, you tried to befriend Jerome a little bit. You offered him a canteen and he just took it. Shyma, you spotted this like basalt outcropping behind the camp that looked kind of similar to some of those drawings that you saw in Douglas Henslow's notebooks, but ultimately it ended up just being a rock. Patrick, you had a moment where you kind of looked up at the stars and it kind of swirled a bit, almost like a whirlpool. And then before dawn, you all woke up and the trek continued. You've been traveling basically, or like before dawn, and then for a few hours in the morning, and then you have a midday break, and then you start traveling again in the late afternoon through dusk, and then you travel again for maybe an hour or two after sunset. So basically, the next day you had a very tense moment because you stopped at this French constructed cistern that we were going to get some water and such. And your rest was interrupted by the arrival of some Italian soldiers, including a man by the name of Ulysses Fanucci. And so it was very tense because they were essentially questioning why a bunch of Americans were with these legionnaires. Marie, Bev, you tried to diffuse the situation. You referenced a bunch of stuff about research. He started to insist that you come with them because, hey, they're doing some research. You should come with us. But ultimately, you managed to kind of get him off that idea. Now, as like everyone was leaving, Will, you noticed that well, all of you actually noticed this, that the Italians had their own local guide, but that seemed to distress Jerome to some degree. You tried to persuade them, but they just kind of laughed and sort of dismissed the idea to leave that guide behind. As they were leaving, Patrick's mouth started to gnash and spit and all that kind of stuff. But fortunately, Marie was able to convince the Italians and everybody else, even the French Foreign Legion, your officer friends, that the source was Joy Boy, your little cat. And they left. The Italians left. You pushed on. Just after dusk, Will, you were up in the front truck. You saw a figure limping in the darkness. You stopped, tried to render that person some aid. It was an old man, kind of covered in scars. He was missing some fingers, some toes, and an ear. He didn't speak, but he accepted treatment. He accepted water. And then, like all of you in the Legionnaires, you brought him into one of the trucks. But Jerome was keeping his distance the whole time from him. Soon after, you stopped for the night. Everyone kind of started to fall asleep. Bev, you were alerted to a strange sound that you started hearing nearby, as if somebody was like choking. And when you start searching around, you found a massive bear or bear-like creature covered in these strange sphincter-shaped mouths. And one of these mouths you can see was gnawing on a woman that you recognize as Viola, which is a former student of yours who died a few years back and came up very recently in your hearing at Miskatonic University. And so that's where we ended. And that's exactly where we're going to basically start up again. So let me get a little music going. Okay. So first things first, Bev, give me a sand test.
I was going to say, I'm like, this needs
for sure.
You're standing here, you're looking at this thing, and you just hear, like every couple of seconds, you just hear like this expulsion of air from Viola's mouth. You see all these gnashing mouths. Okay.
59 over 47.
The bear kind of turns in your direction. You can see like a mouth on its shoulder, a mouth on its chest. You can see its own eyes themselves have been kind of replaced by these smaller little mouths. You see the body of Viola just slump to the ground, clearly dead. And this thing turns and begins lumbering towards you. But we're going to cut from there. Take 1 point of sand loss, by the way.
Okay.
We're going to cut from there. And everybody else, give me a listen test, we'll say. Yeah, I think listen makes the most sense. Give me a listen. And call out when you get it.
Regular, 53.
All right. Patrick, regular success.
Regular success, 16 under 20. Got lucky.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so Will and Patrick are regular so far. Marie's a fail. How's Shyma do?
So mine is being a little funny.
Hard success.
No worries.
17. It came up on my foundry.
Sweet. It's not on mine for some reason, so I'm gonna reload my foundry. But thanks, man.
Yeah.
Okay. No worries. Okay. So Shyma, Will, and Patrick, the three of you, you wake pre-dawn, still dark out, but you can tell that there is some light that's beginning to emerge on the horizon. But you're woken not by that, but you're awoken by the sounds of disarray, these heavy cracks of, well, when you look up, you can see some of the belongings that you have stacked and packed in the truck falling. You can hear the sounds of the wind whipping down this small, tight canyon that you've taken shelter in. Tents, if you had set them up, have kind of been flip-flopping and flying all over the place, flapping in the wind. Will, you can see Jerome kind of chasing after this small little stool, like it's about yay big, that he carries with him, kind of uses it as a pillow. And you see him chasing it off. You also hear the sounds of like Louis and the other Legionnaires kind of calling out as all of them are trying to strap this down, as this massive windstorm has just funneled down into this small little camp that you've made, and is kind of threatening to just completely and utterly wreck everything. You look around and you notice that everyone's awake with the exception of two people, Marie and Bev, both of whom seem to, in their small little matted areas, be sleeping. But you hear Louis calling out like orders to this and that. And you can see one of the the middle car, like the middle truck, you can see is literally almost vertically tipped, and this gust of wind and dust and grit just flies through it. What are you all doing in an attempt to help as you start to see like water spilling out of one of your casks onto the ground as if your supplies are going to get destroyed? What do each of you do? So just tell me an action you would take. So we'll start with Will. We'll just go around the horn.
Will, seeing that truck start to tip, he would just run towards it and put his weight on the other side, trying to pull it down.
Okay. So give me, you can give me just like basically a strength test here for this. And then Marie, Marie, you're asleep for now. Shyma, what would you be doing in this situation?
I'd like to go and sort of help with the French formation, like pull down, like, and offer muscle there, and yell to Patrick to check on Bev and Marie. But
okay. So what I'm looking for is one thing that you're doing that I can call for a check, because there's something I'm tracking here. So what is the one thing that you would be doing?
Go and help the French Foreign Nation folks.
But how? Like, what do you think you're doing?
Pulling down did you say they were pulling down the tarp? Or?
Yeah, you can see one of the trucks is kind of tipped on end. You can see a bunch of your supplies have fallen out of the truck and are scattered and being thrown in this way and that. Some of them deeper down into the canyon. Others are just kind of getting swept up in this swirl of wind and sand. So there's lots of different things. You just tell me what you think Shyma would do, and then we'll figure out.
I'm gonna help Will with the truck.
Okay, so strength would be totally fine for that. Patrick.
I'll run
same
after this.
Question to you.
Yeah, spill supplies, gather them up, make sure they're not flying off before.
Okay. You can do a lot of different things for this. You can do dex if you wanted, or you could do like spot hidden to try to track them down. Any of that would be fine, I think, unless you had a different idea.
I'll go with dex.
Ooh.
Okay. Oh, someone's got a crit.
That's me.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful. That's amazing.
Yes.
I was worrying about the 10% lower because the heat stuff anyway, but that's great.
Okay. Will, I was going to go around the horn. Will, how did you do?
Almost the exact opposite of Shyma. I didn't quite fumble. I got a 95 over 50.
Okay. So you rush over, and as you grab like one side of like this tarp that they're using to strap down onto it, it breaks free and you get thrown up into the air and you're kind of holding on to it. It's almost as if like you're at the base of this tornado, kind of getting sucked up into the sand and into the sky. But then Shyma comes rushing over, and with her wrestler strength, puts the one hand on, gets the forearm positioned, and just pulls it down. And in doing so, Will, you're able to kind of flop down to the ground as well. Patrick, you go racing off. You see things getting knocked over. You see spools of what looks like this colorful silk that you were probably told at some point in the last couple of days that you need this to essentially to sort of trade for camels or to like appease like local like nomadic folk you might meet along the way. And you see it kind of unfurling and spooling, just kind of dancing, and it's just kind of creating this long stretch of this colorful, this colorful silk and other types of fabric. And you go racing it out, and you grab hold of like the one side of it, and you can see it almost gets lifted up into the air, but you pin it down once more. Marie, give me another listen test.
Okay, let's see if I can do better with this. No, I'm absolutely soundly. 76 over 61.
Okay. So, you those of you that are fighting, Will, you managed to pull yourself back up from when you slammed. Shyma, you managed to slam down the side of the truck, and you can see that it begins to settle. Like things are still sloshing around. Other things have kind of got caught up underneath the truck as well. Patrick has rushed off. You can see a few of all of the French Foreign Legion officers now are there, kind of strapping things down. You can see the canvas that you had used to kind of coat this section of the canyon has completely ripped away, and you can see the sky in full. Patrick, as you're out and sort of away from the camp a little bit, chasing down this spool of fabric, you look out and you can see that that figure that you all had rescued yesterday, or at least earlier in the evening, like because right now picture it like a 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning kind of deal, and you had rescued him just after dusk yesterday. And you can see this man walking away, sort of in the same level, in the same distance direction that you are, and you can see that he's like, the wind is whipping around him violently, like all of his like the black sort of like the black sash, and you can see like his the cloths that he had wrapped are all just kind of whipping horrifically, and then you see him suddenly whoosh, get lifted up into the air like 10 feet, 15 feet, and you see just kind of getting danced around and toggled around like right there in the middle of the sky. And then suddenly, all of you, no matter where you're standing, the wind stops. And Patrick, you watch as this tangle of black cloth just starts to slowly drift down until about 20 to 30 feet from you, it lands in just a heap. Like it's just a feather floating down in the sky. It's around this time, Marie, that maybe you hear next to you something smash, like a piece of like a piton or something that had spiked into the canyon wall, falls right next to your head and makes this clatter, and you wake up. And as you all take stock of the situation, you can see that some of your supplies have been destroyed. You can see like there's like this big cask of what looks like you think it's tea, maybe, and maybe that's what one of the French Foreign Legion guys explains. Like Pierre comes up and he's like trying to salvage it, but it's all this sand and grit and debris has come into it. You can see there's a puncture in one of these big casks of water that you've been carrying with you. And you can see that all sorts of like your clothing and blankets and things like that have been scattered about, and people are beginning to quickly kind of scrounge it up. Bev, meanwhile, is still asleep. And Patrick, you're the furthest away, and you can see about 20 or 30 feet from you is this black heap of cloth where the man just flew into the sky and smashed back down. What are you doing, saying, thinking in this moment?
Well, Marie just woke up, and so she's like, "What happened? What happened?"
Bit of heavy winds. Our new member out there, he just got thrown about. And I'll jog over to see what happened to him.
Heavy winds, my word. This is awful.
Okay. You rush over, and Patrick, you see that it's just this, like, it's almost unrecognizable. There's barely any light, but again, on the horizon to the east, you can see a little bit of the sun is threatening to come up, and so there's a little bit of light, but not a ton. But you can see it just looks like this big spread, this big mass of black cloth and wrappings on the ground. What do you want to do as you approach, Patrick?
See if he's even there. It's just there's cloth left behind.
So, do you think? So, how do you go about seeing if he's there? Are you just looking with your eyes? Or are you kind of like shifting it around? What do you?
Just moving it around, see if he's under the cloth.
You reach down, you start like moving and unfurling or unflapping some of this cloth. And you realize first that there is no man here. And then you realize secondly that suddenly spilling out from within the folds of all of this black cloth are dozens of these thick black scorpions that begin scrambling all around you. Roll a dodge test, and you need to hit a hard at this.
Okay, my dodge is 31.
They start crawling up your arms. You can see one of them kind of gets underneath the cuff of your pant leg. If you were barefoot for the night, one of them is like right up on top of your foot. Well, how did you do?
That's a crit fail fumble, 100.
Oh my gosh.
God, get him off me.
Okay, you shout that out, and one of them gets up your pant leg, and you feel the sudden puncture on the inside of your right thigh. You take You take 4 points of damage, and you immediately feel this wooziness come over you as you shout out that, get him off me. But as you do so, your tongue feels a little thickened and sluggish and slow. As you turn around to kind of race away, or even maybe stomp on some of them or kick some of them, you feel yourself get very, very drowsy. Okay. But I'll say any of you that are awake, Will, Marie, Shyma, you can hear Patrick at this point shouting. And Bev is not awake yet.
I'd like to sort of reflect or run over.
To Patrick?
To Patrick.
Okay. You race over to Patrick. You rush up like the rest of the ramp to where, and you can see like behind him, there is this black mass of cloth that is, as you watch it, is depleting in volume and size. And you see scattering out from it, like in this radius, dozens of these thick, large, black scorpions. And you can see he's like almost like kind of ineffectually sort of swashing a few of them off. And you can see he's like stepping towards you almost like he's drunk.
I'm going to make an attempt to try and grab him and move him far away from this.
Yeah, no roll necessary. You can grab him. You can pull him away. Patrick, are you saying anything?
I don't know anything but this pant-like one, to be clear.
They're in me. Help.
They're in you? And I start patting him down.
Patrick, roll a contest. Let me know how you do.
Regular success.
Okay.
Nice.
You stay conscious for the moment, but you can feel yourself getting very, very, very drowsy. You also feel like this horrific pain where the puncture was on the inside of your right thigh. But you're managing to stay up. Like your right leg is going numb, and like you can feel everything from where the puncture wound was down is going numb, and everything from the puncture wound up towards your crotch effectively is getting number and number by the moment. But you're keeping your consciousness.
Help me, Shyma. I can't feel my leg.
Shyma is quite prudish and is not looking at like the inner thigh or trying to get your pants off. She's patting down your torso and like the other part of your leg, and
okay.
I think realistically probably hasn't like even felt what you're feeling, but I think she does have enough presence of mind to yell for Will and Pierre specifically, knowing that Pierre is a medic.
Okay, so Will and Marie at the same time. Shyma ran off to help Patrick. What were the two of you gonna do?
I think Will would see Bev sleeping there in all of this chaos and think that she got hit in the head by something. Like that's the only explanation that she would still be asleep through all this. So he would have run over to her to see if she was okay.
Okay. Give me a first aid, medicine, anything like that would be fine.
91 over 70.
Holy crying out loud.
What did you do to your dice?
Everyone's rolling like me today.
You don't notice any signs of like a contusion on her head or anything. You don't even notice anything around her that would have potentially caused it. Likely you were advised in the night before you slept at some point in your travels to like keep your head above the sand and everything like that. And you can see her head. She looks fine. She looks like she's just sleeping. But you don't notice anything that would be relevant. What about Marie?
So Marie is trying to collect things. So she's just picking up things that got windblown. So I would say if there's something that looks valuable that needs to get picked up, or if it's in her visibility, she might try to go over and staunch the leaking of the water.
Okay.
Because you said one of the cisterns was like leaking.
Wasn't it? Well, the cistern that was prior. That's like a fixed. It's basically like a fixed well. Like there's structures.
Oh, okay.
You just have casks of it here that you kind of carry from here and there, and one of them has been punctured. I'll tell you what. Give me a luck test to see as you go over and try to staunch the leaking thing to see how much this will have an impact.
Okay. We were talking earlier. My luck currently is 40, so I'm not too great
Decent
with
chance.
that at the moment. Our rolls tonight. 61 over 40.
You go over to check it, and unfortunately, as you do, you realize like very little of it is left. You manage to staunch it as best you can. You kind of maybe even flip the cask, and the sheer fact that you're able to do this suggests that there's probably not much water in there to begin with. But you do, and you salvage whatever was in there. Like you salvage a little bit, but you don't salvage like the full cask. Like it's already been emptied.
It's that very awkward thing where you like go to lift something that you expect to be heavy, and then it just kind of like lifts.
Accidentally throw it behind you and fall over like an idiot. Yeah. Okay.
That is what happens with Marie.
It's around this time that you hear Shyma call for Will and call for Pierre. And again, everyone's kind of scattered around doing similar things to what Marie is doing and just sort of picking things up, restacking stuff, repairing, taking stock of what's there. So Will, you hear your name being shouted. Do you follow up?
Do I see Pierre running over?
Yeah, he'll like look around to see where exactly his name is being called from, and he'll follow up.
I see Patrick still like conscious, and I know that Pierre can help. Bev is still unconscious, and I can't find a reason for that, and that feels a little bit more disconcerting because like I've been pushing her head around looking for a contusion. She's not moving, so I would I would actually ignore Shyma in this instance and try to like wake up Bev if I can.
Okay, so you sit there and you try to kind of shake her awake or something like that.
Pour a little bit of water out of my canteen, wipe it on her face.
Okay. As you do so,
that's why I brought extra.
As you do so, Bev, you do eventually awake, but you awake with like a fright and a start, as what we didn't see when we cut away was the bear charging at you, but what we didn't see was the bear catching up to you and beginning to gnaw and gnaw and gnaw away at you. And the last image that you see before you suddenly wake up from what apparently is just a nightmare was about 4 or 5 different mouths across this bear's body, gnawing into various portions, your arm, your chin, like you can see like a portion of your leg, like each of them as it just kind of flopped down next to you. And the same sounds that Viola was making, you were making, and then you wake up.
And when Bev wakes up, she's still making those horrific sounds. So she's groaning like she's in absolute agony. And she suddenly pushes you away from her, and she just starts to scramble away out to the desert a bit. And you watch as she's sitting on her knees, and she's touching her leg and her face, and she's panting and she's crying. And you just hear her as she lays back down, and when she finally realizes she's not being eaten alive, and she just starts to weep as she cries this name, Viola.
Bev,
Viola.
It's okay. It was just a windstorm. I think something hit you on the head. Just don't move too much, okay?
No. She got eaten again, and this time the bear had the mouths. It had the mouths. And then it caught me, and it was eating me, and I felt every bite as it consumed my arms and my legs. And
Bev, there is no bear. It's okay. There's no bear. The camp is a mess right now. There was a huge storm. Just stay put and
I need your gun. What if she's still there? What if she's still alive? What if there's the bear? And then at that point, she kind of like leaps up and she's trying to reach for your gun.
Oh no.
Please come with me. We could still save her. What if
Bev, it's fine. There's no bear. I promise.
It's there. I can show you.
It was just a bad dream with the storm that happened.
And it ate me?
You're okay.
And she's shaking.
It's okay. Just breathe.
Where's Shyma? And at that point, she starts frantically looking for Shyma.
And it's very dark, but you do see a group of shapes a little bit closer to camp as you ran away, you said.
Yeah.
And we'll cut to that as while this is happening, like Bev is racing away and Will catches her. Shyma, you're helping Patrick. Patrick, you're definitely feeling a wooziness, and you're also in like the numbness has gone up your leg. And now you almost kind of feel a warmth in your chest, and there's like these light convulsions that have begun to kind of get you. Not to the point where you're like feeling completely like out of control, but you can kind of just feel like it's sort of coming. But that's when Pierre will show up and he's like, "What is this? What has happened? What has happened? What is it?"
He got bit. He got bit by a scorpion. One of those that she points to where she thought she saw a scorpion.
And you point to the heap, and you can see like they're still just spreading and radiating out from that heap of cloth.
What are
And he's
those?
like,
He said there's one on him, but I can't feel it. I can't feel it.
Patrick, where is it?
It's in my pants. Help me.
And he reaches, he looks down, and he just pulls a knife out and just strips down like your legs a bit, and he kind of pulls away. And that's when this big, massive black scorpion just drops to the ground, and he stabs into it with his knife and flings it off to the side. And Shyma, you can see that there's this dark kind of black wound. It almost looks like there's like blackness radiating from it, and there's a redness and a rawness. But like like Patrick still has his pants on, but they're stripped seriously. And he's like, "Oh no. Okay, sit him down. Oh no. Oh wait, why are there so many?" As they like, you look over and you can just see all of these, like literally dozens now. And he's like, "Get him back, get him back." And like, the two of you are like
his lead.
dragging, and you essentially get Patrick, who's starting to convulse a little bit now. Like your eyes are starting to feel a little too heavy, and then you can see he just starts like kind of looking at it and like pulling into his bag and sort of trying as best he can to scrape away anything that might still be there, like any residue of whatever the scorpion injected you with. All right, so if he's making the roll, I can do that. Let me pull him up. I actually have stats for all of these fools. Where's Pierre?
He's gonna be the hero.
Dangerous. When the GM has stats.
Hey, you're gonna get them all killed. That's what I said. Like, oh, you like them, son? Like, don't get them killed. Just saying.
Whoops.
You like those Mexican cops?
Whoopsies.
What happened to them? Just saying. All right, here we go.
Nothing good.
Okay. 46. That'll do. Okay. 46 under 50. Okay. So yeah. So I'll say with this, Patrick, you're able to stave off convulsions. You're able to stave off unconsciousness. And you don't necessarily take any more damage, but the numbness remains. And you can kind of feel like your chest beginning to calm a little bit. And while you're still probably tired, as the adrenaline now is wearing off, you don't feel as though you are like drunk and kind of collapsing. And you can look down at where your leg is, and kind of radiating out from it are all these different like discolorations, almost like varicose veins coming out from where it was. And he's patching up as best he can, and he's kind of pouring some water into there.
Can't feel my leg.
It will return, probably. What happened? Why was there a scorpion in your? What is this?
That
what
man
happened?
we rescued, he got thrown about and he turned into scorpions. I don't know.
What? You are what? No, and he turns to Shyma. He's delirious. The venom can play tricks on the mind.
And yes, and she's fully agreeing. Because that's what you think's happened.
Sure, but it is okay. And he at this point, he's just kind of like, yes, of course. Just relax, rest. Go sit. You can sit in one of the trucks, and like help me get him into a truck. And like they open up the back of one of these trucks to kind of let Patrick go inside. Just rest, my friend. Just rest. So as we move from there, Bev, you see Shyma come back. Do you and Will return to the sort of this little ravine that you all have?
Yeah, because seeing Shyma, she'll let out like a breath, like, oh, thank God I didn't lose another one. And she just kind of clings to Will. Don't let me get eaten, okay?
There's no bear. There's no bear. It's fine. You're not going to be eaten.
It wasn't just a bear. It was the mouse.
It was a bad dream. It was just a bad dream.
And at that point, she stops talking, but she is clinging to your arm as we walk back to camp.
Okay. And as the two of you come back to camp, you see Marie flipping over a water cask, trying to cap it.
It looks really impressive.
If you're not,
like
Patrick probably thinks you're Hercules or something. Yeah. But everyone is kind of bringing back whatever they were able to salvage. In the aftermath, you did lose a full cask of water. Some of your provisions were effectively destroyed, but not all of them. Effectively, what's going to happen is at the start of travel today, you all will be at +1 heat level. So keep that in mind.
I brought extra water.
So I was already at 1. I'm at 2 now.
Me as well.
So you would be at 2. You have an opportunity though before you leave to roll like you would normally have an opportunity to roll first aid or con to try to lower it. So you can do that still. Like you're still able to do that. But all of you at minimal will be at 1. So Shyma, if you want to give me that first aid or that con to lower, if you've already had a tick up, you can go ahead and do that.
I'll do con. Okay.
And would that be for Marie as well?
Yeah, if you've already been up 1, you can go ahead and try that roll.
32 under 70.
Perfect. So you would have reset before the windstorm interrupted everything, or shortly after, however you want to put it.
So I'm at heat level 1 now.
Yeah, because you're basically starting with fewer supplies, and you're going to be traveling the morning without as much.
That makes sense. All right, thanks.
Mm-hmm. All right, how'd you do, Marie?
Hold on, 93 over 50
Fall
for my
over
con.
and die. Yeah, you turn into a piece of old leather. You're dead. Okay.
I'm imagining because she's very like redhead, fair skinned, and she's not doing well. This heat.
So, do the rest of the early morning hours pre-dawn are uneventful in the sense that the windstorm doesn't return. However, the question of like the stranger, a few of the legionnaires will come up. Where did the man go? Where did he go? Did anyone see the man with the we rescued? Where did he wander off to? Anyone?
Those were his robes that Patrick found the scorpions in. I didn't see where he got blown off to.
What? And they get up, and you can see when you lead them over to where the heap is, by the time you get back, there's just like a couple tiny bits of like black cloth mixed up with the sand and the grit. And you can see there's all sorts of these small little tracks moving out and away from it that suggest like a literal army of scorpions escaped from it. Where? What are you talking about, Will? And we'll say this is Louis. He's like, what are you talking about?
I saw the robes go up in the air. I saw them fall down. I didn't see what happened to him.
So it was just the ropes. He could have disrobed then.
It could have been. It looked like he got taken up by the wind. I don't know.
The wind was very strong, so it is possible a man of his frailty, but he would be around here. Everyone spread out, please. Let's see if this man is still around. We have a responsibility to his safety. We brought him inside of our vehicles. We tended to him. Everyone spread out.
Of course,
So-
yes. We'll find him. He's and Marie had been asleep, so he must still be here.
Mhm. Give me, so anybody who's participating in this, Patrick, you wouldn't have to. Give me a spot hidden or a track. Would do well.
I am going to spend some audience bits because I have been rolling like poop.
Okay. That's not
Actually,
good
no,
for
I realized that
Shyma.
I'm not.
Oh dear.
Fail.
Okay.
It's over 50, so I'm not going to spend any audience bits.
Okay.
But it didn't matter because I rolled a 13 under 72, so that is a
Nice.
success.
Fantastic.
Nice.
I got a hard success as well. 14 under 40.
That
Hell
seems
yes.
to be worse than a 13, though.
Oh.
Melissa's always showing me up. What can I say?
And Bev,
We both got
looks like
hard
anyone.
successes.
Yeah, Bev
We're-
failed.
You know.
Okay. Marie and Will, you move around for quite some time. Everyone's sort of spreading out, but you're all staying within quick shouting distance of each other. Like that's one instruction you had. Everyone spread, but keep an earshot, be able to see it. And as the sun continues to sort of rise on the horizon, it gets brighter and brighter. You're getting a later start to the day than probably Louis would want. And just before the sun is fully up above the horizon, Will and Marie, you see a carcass on the ground. And as you approach it, you notice that it is not a person, but it looks to be a beast, an animal of some kind. From a distance, it's the size of like a, it could be a jackal, it could be like one of, it could be a hyena, something like that size. It's got fur. You can see like there's, it looks on the ground. Doesn't look to be, it doesn't look to be like writhing or anything like that. But from a distance is what you see. And that's the only thing you really find. Is there anything that you wanted to do with that?
We would
How far away
probably
is it?
want to look a little bit closer.
Okay. I mean, I would put you guys at 30 feet or so away when you spot it and then kind of stop
Okay.
there.
Then yeah, I definitely want to walk over and look closer.
Okay. When you approach Will, you can see with your hard success, and Marie as well, both of you, when you get maybe within about 10 feet of it, it is, while it's not breathing or or moving itself, you do notice movement. And when you get closer, you realize like there are little bugs and things and scorpions and stuff kind of writhing over top of it. You can see it's just like completely covering it.
Oh dear. Oh my. That's it does appear that nature is doing its work, perhaps.
Careful, we don't need another sting like Patrick. I would want to walk around and see like if we can see what killed it even, or like how it died, like if there's like a wound or something.
I would take a let's see, I would take like a first aid. Whatever it's going to be is going to be hard success because you're not getting close. So if you want to do natural, I'll take that. Yeah, that's fine.
Just a quick bit
Natural
of bookkeeping. A 13 under 72 is an extreme success for whatever that's worth.
Is that better than Will?
It is.
Always showing me.
Did he only have a hard success and you have a stream?
I only had a hard
He
success.
did only have a hard
Wow.
success. I'm just bad at
Wow, that's just really embarrassing, Will.
math.
You're out in the desert. This is where you serve for a little while, and this Chicago broad with the white skin and the red hair comes out here, and she does it better than you.
55 over 40, that is a fail.
Hard to say. No, I mean, it could be the fact that it's got dozens of creatures crawling over top of it, or maybe they're just taking advantage. Marie, are you getting closer like Will, or are you keeping your distance?
I would, if Will is getting closer, Marie would get closer. She's not going to be outdone.
Okay. You two then could roll a test if you like. First aid, medicine, or like survival, natural world. Any of those types of things could probably be okay here, but it's going to be a hard success required.
Okay, so I've got a pretty low first aid. I've got a 32, so I'm going to take 2 audience boosts to get that to a 52 and roll that.
Okay.
Roll a 93.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Right. Not a critical fail. Otherwise, bad things would have happened. But the two of you, it's just unless you're pretty confident that unless you were to just somehow scatter these things and really dig deep into an analysis of it, there's probably no way you're going to tell what killed it.
No, Will, I also, my boy, I just can't exactly figure that out. Perhaps we should go in a different direction because it is definitely not our traveling companion.
Yeah. Might have just died of dehydration or natural causes. Looks like the carrion have it now.
Yes, circle of life and all that. Let's keep looking.
And
Okay.
keep searching.
Eventually, you're called back as the sun is now starting to peak above the horizon. You haven't been able to find, no one has been able to find any trace of this band. And at a certain point, Louis has a little conversation with Jerome off to the side and then returns to you all and says, we will continue. If he is around here, then we say a prayer and perhaps he will find his way. But and he is probably more accustomed to these conditions than all of you, or even we are. So we have a concern, and we have lost some of our provisions. So we are starting late in the day, but we must continue onward if we are to travel safely. So you are your friend, Mr. Price. He will be all right, Pierre tells me, but someone will need to keep a close eye on him, monitor him, ensure that no other convulsions occur. That would be a very bad sign. Yes.
I'll keep an eye on him. Make sure he's okay.
But those scorpions, if their things are not tended to quickly, could kill without much difficulty. So be very careful. Now, let us continue onward. So was anybody looking to do anything else before breaking camp, or are you all ready to get going?
I think I'm good. I would want to try and this might be something we could do on the road too. That cask that got broken, see if we can effectuate a repair for the next time we hit water.
Okay.
I can support with that. I have a decent mechanical repair. I don't know if that will help.
I'll take mechanical repair for this. There's really no repair skills, so I think mechanical repair is the only thing. So
maybe
I'll
Will would
or craft if anybody has a specific craft skill.
The foreman on this job then, because his mechanical repair is 10.
Okay. All right.
Right.
Sure. You can, if you want to give that a roll, Shyma. We'll say everyone gets loaded up into their trucks. You do your best to maybe you take on that broken one. Maybe a couple people get into Patrick's to kind of have some more time with him to ensure that he's okay. And the problem, Shyma,
unfortunately.
Yeah, the problem is just that it's cracked in a couple different places, and any quantity of water in here, while it could keep a little bit, it's just going to continue to spill. So it probably needs to be completely rebuilt or discarded and used for parts in some ways.
Okay. That's unfortunate, but I think narratively it makes sense that she is trying to help in a
Absolutely.
very quantifiable way.
Okay. So all of you, as you get back into the trucks and you continue onward, you back out of this ravine. You can notice it's April, and around this time you can sometimes see little patches of greenery from time to time and little wetness here. It didn't rain or anything like that since you've been out here, but sometimes that's something that you might be able to see. And so maybe you see a few of those as the light comes in fully, because when you found this camp, it was much darker. but now you're able to kind of see exactly where you were. And you pull out of that ravine and you continue on your trek. Most of the travel that morning isn't particularly difficult, though Patrick, it's very uncomfortable to you, I would imagine. Your leg remains numb pretty much throughout the entire morning, but you start to feel in like your toes, like the feeling begin to return. Probably by the end of the morning, as you're getting ready to stop at midday. But you still, whenever you get up, like wherever it is you all stop for water, you find some kind of watering hole that Jerome is aware of, and you kind of do the best you can to resupply yourselves. When you get out, Patrick, you kind of move around with a little bit of a limp. Your leg kind of drags behind you slightly. It's not, if you had to run, it would be trouble, but walking isn't much of an issue.
Jeff, one thing that I was wondering about, because if I recall, Jerome didn't look particularly thrilled about us sort of bringing this stranger in. And so Marie's just watching him just to see, because we were all discussing that this individual was missing and we were looking for them. And I just wonder if Jerome looked concerned, didn't look concerned, looked relieved. Just if there seemed to be any kind of response to this news that he's missing and that we weren't able to find him.
Right. Give me a psychology test.
Okay.
We'll say maybe you sit in the truck with him this time. Like maybe you're up front with him, and maybe you and Will. Actually, no, Will's with Patrick, so you probably take Will's seat, and you're up in the front truck with Louis and with Jerome, and you're kind of keeping an eye on him, and you definitely notice like there are exchanges between him and with Louis, but he doesn't talk very much. You can tell, and then if he does, it's really only to the captain. So give me a psychology roll.
Okay, I rolled a 74 over 72, so I will spend the 2 luck to pass.
Okay, I'll give you 2 things. One is he seems a little more relieved. You can tell the evening prior. First of all, he didn't get out of the truck to help, and then when Will tried to bring the man into the back of the truck that he was in, he like pulled the door shut and didn't let Will open it.
Yeah.
And then when he rested for the night, he took his small little stool and his mat, and he kept much more separate from everybody else than he normally would. And you could probably have sorted some tension out, but he seems a little bit more calm, like he was the previous days. So that's the first thing.
Okay.
The second thing I would say you would notice is that he's very observant, and you catch him multiple times eyeing different people. Not so much the Foreign Legion guys, but every now and then, whenever you stop, you'll see him kind of watch Will as he like maybe helps Patrick get out of the truck and kind of limp around, or he kind of looks over at Shyma and Bev, and you can tell he is very observant, and he wears. Like you can tell he wears like a wrapping that comes around his body, but he also kind of wraps it up towards his head. But you can even see like after the windstorm when it fell, like his hair kind of bushled out in some way. And every now and then he'll unwrap it, and you can see he puts something into it. You can tell, and then he kind of wraps it back up every now and then while they're driving. Because sometimes like the top will come back, they'll bring the top back a little bit to get wind flow. But at all times, no matter what he's doing, you get the sense that he's keeping a very close eye on everybody.
He's watching. And so I would imagine, because Marie is like kind of eyeing him like a hawk. So I'd imagine if he's being attentive, we're going to have those awkward moments where like he's kind of looking around to everybody and like she's just kind of like watching him. So like he might catch that she's watching him as he's kind of looking around.
Do you want to try to not get caught? If you want to try to not get caught, you could try to be stealthy about it and try to roll stealth.
Yeah. So my stealth is 40. So this may be a little more difficult. 36 under 40.
Okay. There are a couple times where you see him like kind of pull out his like this goat skin like water water skin he has, and he drinks from it, and he turns and gazes, and right as he's about to land on you, you're able to quickly kind of like avert your gaze. You're not sure if it's the most subtle movement, but it doesn't look like he has been alerted to your people watching.
She has kind of the wrap as well, and so she's kind of like pulling it a little, kind of like forward over her face a little bit. So yeah, that's definitely how she's spending the early part of the travel time, is just kind of keeping an eye on him, and it's interesting to her that he was unsettled and then bad things happened, and now that person is gone and now he's settled again, and seems relieved. And so this is helpful to her because it seemed like, oh, that's interesting, and now he's relieved, so maybe I could also be relieved.
Right. So we'll say midday, you're led to this this natural spring. Doesn't look like there's any permanent structure around it. You do feel and have been told that you're getting further and further away from some of the kind of French fortifications that might have been put in place, because you guys are taking a route that is probably not one that they take too frequently. And you are going in a direction to Dalal. It gets very, the terrain becomes, trucks don't go there anymore. But there are some spots for shade. So you can see like a swale of like a rocky ridge line. And if you get at the right time of day, it blocks the sun, which it is now. And so there's a little bit of shade. So you're all able to kind of find this little, this small section where there's water to be able to fill. It's not as easily done as the previous couple of days, but you're able to do it. I'm going to check in with Bev. So Bev, how are you doing? After the night, the drive, awake to all this weird things happening, what's going through Bev's mind as she travels? What's going through Bev's mind as she makes the stop?
I think she's still kind of hyper alert and scared, because she knows that Will told her that was just a dream, but it felt so real that she can't really disregard it just yet. So she's frequently checking herself. She's checking on Patrick, who she realizes is injured, and she's just kind of clinging to familiar things. So she'll linger next to Will, Patrick. She checks in on Shyma and Marie, and she got a full night's sleep, but it's clear she's exhausted. But she's refusing to rest in the truck. And as she's sitting, she's up and alert and just watching.
Yeah. And I think all of you, except for Marie, are at that first heat level. And I think Marie is at the second. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Did you account for that in your rolls, by the way?
Yeah.
I know you're good. I meant Marie.
So my more recent rolls were like psychology and
stealth.
So I wasn't sure that would necessarily count, and I failed the only thing that I've really done physical was the canteen, and I failed that anyway.
But heat level 2 is all rolls.
Oh, my bad.
So your stealth would have. I think your psychology was fine.
The stealth I would have needed to spend an extra 10 luck to succeed.
So then I would say that. 10. Okay, you do spend the 10. Okay, yeah. Fine, we're good. Everything that resolves it is how it resolved. So every one of you, to a degree, has felt the heat. Now it's final. You've been out here for a few days. You've been traveling for maybe 3 days now. At this point, you've had a couple stops along the way. The first one was pretty easy. The second was the Italians. The third one now is a little bit further away. And so all of you are really starting to feel the effects of it. Bev, give me you can give me like a first aid or a medicine or even a spot hidden. Any of those things are fine. As you are checking yourself every now and then, right? You're looking the mind from the nightmare that you suffered.
Let's do first aid. Let's try and level that up.
Yeah. Guess knows I'm throwing a lot of these at you to give you that opportunity because you.
What a nice guy.
20.
Kind of guy I am. Okay. All right. Even with your penalty,
-10. Mm-hmm.
Even with your penalty, you're still good. You're still a hard success. Bev, you notice that on your arm, on your leg, on your chin, there's a redness forming. It's not a rash, and it's not like you've been cut or stabbed or anything like that. It's just like a reddening of your skin. And maybe at first, as you're traveling in the trucks, it just felt like maybe sunburn. But now that you get out in the shade and you sit down, you get some water in you, you get the shade hitting you, and you start to try to calm down a bit. You look down and you realize it's not. And like the rest, you are sunburning in some places for sure.
Mhm.
But even places that were covered, you're feeling that redness. You peel back like maybe a shawl you had wrapped across your arm, and you look and you see all this redness in all these places where in your dream, one of the bear's mouths was kind of gnawing on you in some place.
And I think when she notices that, she kind of just stands abruptly with a start, and she starts to pace a little bit before she heads over to Will, and she just kind of like thrusts her arm at him. Look at this. Do you see it's red? This is where it was eating me. And then here on my chin, and
Bev,
I checked.
it's like hives. It's like a rash.
It has to be more than that. It has.
What do they
What?
call it? The psychosomatic, something like that. Like you
What if-
dreamt it. It's stress, and it's showing up.
What if?
Like I believe it was a bad dream, and this shit plays with your mind. I get it. I'm not trying to say it didn't
Will,
happen, but
what if it can bite you through dreams? What if I also get a mouth on me?
Bev, just you can't think that way. You start thinking that way, and that's what causes this stress. That's what gives you these hives. It was a bad dream, and I get it made a huge impression on you, and I know it sucks, but the more you give it that energy, the more it's going to come up like this.
And like at you trying to like calm her down and like play it down, it upsets her more because you're not taking her seriously. And you just kind of watch as she just kind of shakes her head at you, and she turns and she kind of shuts down. Like she's not talking to anyone anymore, but she's got her spots wrapped up, and she's trying to not touch them to agitate them further, but you can see as she reaches for them and then stops herself, and she's just sitting there quietly.
Okay. Let's check in with Patrick. Patrick, again, your leg is still a little numb, but you've kind of got, you could sense the movements coming back. The convulsions have stopped. Your drowsiness is probably whatever normal level of drowsiness you would feel as you've reached the stopping point for the day. What's going through Patrick's mind, and is he doing anything?
Yeah, I'd be sitting there, taking a rest, have my leg kicked out, just trying to get the feeling back into it, and having small conversations with Marie, Shyma. It's like, gonna be okay. Thanks for this morning.
Of course. Are you doing any better?
It's not gonna kill me. I think Pierre's helped out a lot.
The poison seemed very bad. I'm so glad he was able to help.
I don't know what to make of it, but I've been watching Jerome all day, and he was so distressed yesterday when we brought that gentleman with us, and he seems to be more relaxed today. So maybe that's a good sign. I still don't understand how we had a human individual with us, and then he turned into scorpions.
Well, this is the thing, Mr. Price. Now that you're feeling a little better, do you remember seeing him?
It's a bit dark, but I saw him fly up in the gust. All I came
That
back with the robes.
really happened?
It's what I saw. It's what Will saw.
Oh my word! He went. He elevated and was gone.
Some strong winds. But you mentioned Jerome. He knows something. But no one's talked to him, really, except for Will.
Did you say that the winds just stopped when he flew away? Flew away. What am I saying? What words are these? He flew. What?
Don't know where he went, but his robes remained. And then all the scorpions. What the heck were those? God.
I thought there were just dangers of being out here, like that we've been told about and warned about, and when Pierre said that it was probably the poison, that seemed right to me because you were convulsing and you were barely able to stand, and I thought certainly if it was affecting you that badly physically, it must have been affecting you mentally as well.
Well, it's
So-
not going to take me out.
No, of course it won't, but
That's the
you're
spirit.
sure
and-
about what you saw?
I'm sure of it. And I've seen things in my days, but I'm certain.
I think that tonight will be a better night. We will get good rest. This heat, though, I'm not a fan. Not a fan. Chicago summers can get very humid, and this is unpleasant. Quite unpleasant. And Marie is very just like red in the face and sweating and putting on a smile and being encouraging to Patrick, but looks very uncomfortable.
Okay. So, if anyone had any, like your midday rest in the shade, lasts a few hours. You can even see some people get some spot sleeps in. They kind of get some winks. Everyone replenishes some water. You have like time to do a chore or two, or read a book, or do something if there's something you wanted to do. But at a certain point, Louis will come over to all of you wherever it is you're resting, and he'll say, "So the plan is we are a little slightly behind schedule, but not so bad." I've spoken with Jerome, and he believes that tomorrow we could, because there is a place, it is like a settlement, but they are nomadic primarily, but sometimes around particular water holes. Sometimes there will be semi-permanent trading posts and such, but this place has been more permanent. It is a place where we will be able to exchange some of the goods that we have brought for camels, and that is where we will send. We will turn around, or well, first they will wait for us, our drivers, but we will change into camels at that point and continue on there. We cannot risk the vehicles going much further. He calls the place Sabo Rimo, and that they will be they will be receptive to us, hopefully, as long as everyone is on their best behavior. And he lingers on Will for a second when he says that. It means what you must understand is that we are guests passing through their lands, and we must treat that respectfully. So be sure to be kind, respectful, and patient, and I am sure everything will be just fine. You are very delightful people, except for Will. But anyhow, we'll have one more night. In the morning, before midday, we should be able to reach it in time. But how are you feeling, Patrick? Are you feeling better? Are you feeling up to snuff?
Feels like I pissed myself and I'm soaking in it.
Well, perhaps that will cool you down a bit.
I can feel my toes, that's about it.
Well, that is more than some of us can ask for. So, it gets very hot here, and eventually you will lose some feeling. Anyhow, but are you ready to continue? So, all of you then can, since you spent about a half day here, you can make a check to see if you can reduce your heat level by 1. So you can make a con or a first aid test, whatever you prefer.
And
on a
are
success-
those reduced because the heat level?
Oh yeah,
First
all
aid
rolls.
or survival, Jeff?
This is just
On or first
pure. I'll take a survival. I mean, like.
I don't have survival. I thought that's what it was last time.
Survival
that
was to
is-
avoid taking
to
the
avoid
heat
it.
level.
Yeah, this is just like cooling
Oh.
yourself down.
Okay,
This is literally
okay.
just cooling yourself down and taking it easy. I'll take a survival. There's no like whatever penalty level you're at in terms of like the heat level, it does apply. So
Got it.
take those into consideration.
Ooh,
So.
still passed.
Okay.
Finally.
Regular
Alright.
fast for me.
Okay. So regular pass for Will. Will, you can reduce your heat level by 1. Bev, you said you passed as well. Same thing. Patrick, I think you passed as well. I see.
Yeah,
a
I got
68.
regular.
Okay, so you can go ahead and reduce your heat level by 1. Marie, how did you do?
So I rolled a 15 and I had a minus 20 and my con is 50. So it's 15 under 30.
You're good. You can go ahead and reduce it. 15 or 30 still a pass.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that meant it was a hard success, if that mattered at all.
It is a hard success, but in this case, it wouldn't matter. A critical
So I
success
go down
would
from
matter,
2 to
but-
1.
Okay, yeah. What about Shyma?
Just a regular success.
Double check.
But on con, so I'm not sure if
No, you're fine. You can reduce it by
Okay.
1. This is literally just like you're just being cool. Like if you were to spend, so you can spend like a half day in shade and just try to reduce it by 1 level, or you can spend like a full day in a shelter and reduce it all the way to 0. No roll required. You just cool down, automatic. Okay. All right. So you continue your travel for the rest of the day. And you can tell that the terrain itself is getting a little bit more imposing. There are a few times more times along the way where the trucks have to stop and kind of check something, or you feel like a horrible bump or a jolt, and you get out and you can see that like there's concern that an axle might have been split. Once or twice, you maybe even have to like switch out a tire, that kind of thing. And you can tell it's getting worse and worse. And your French friends are getting concerned. There's even like an argument that kind of spouts up once or twice between like Louis and one of the drivers. And so whoever's in that front car, you can hear them just sort of yelling at each other in French. But they're certainly arguing over like, we stop pushing it. We're going too far. We're going too far. But eventually you find yourselves a spot to rest for the night. It's just after dusk again. Sun's down, but you can still see the remnants of it on the horizon to the west. And you all are able to find various places to lay your heads and eventually begin to cool down once more. Everybody, as you sleep for the night, unless there was anything you wanted to do, you can always interrupt me at any point if there's a task that you guys wanted to do. Just call it out, interrupt me, we're fine. Otherwise, I need everyone to roll a POW test.
I would say Marie, since it's been kind of a rough day, I would say Marie sort of just making the rounds to everybody with the cat, just kind of as everybody's like eating and kind of resting, just sort of little mascot,
Pierre
like keeping everybody.
Loves this cat. Absolutely love this. Oh, look at you, wonderful. Oh, you are a hero. Oh, look at you. Yes, yes, yes. And it's like feeding your cat like little bits of whatever it is he brought with him to kind of feast on. Like there's skins of like goat milk and such, which he's like he'll occasionally kind of like give a little bit to. He's like, here you go. Yes, good kitty. Yes, yes, yes. And he points to you, Marie. And again, Pierre is like the shorter guy. He's Belgian. He's got like this like scruffy like goatee that you can tell over the course of the last few days he hasn't shaved, and it's just getting kind of worse and worse. He's like, you make sure you keep good care of this one. He is a very brave little cat. Yes, he is. Very happy.
And I would say that he may be one of the only ones that Marie will actually leave Joy Boy with briefly.
Yeah.
That usually she kind of stands there and waits.
Take him. Yes, of course, yes, go on. Hello, who is it? Yes, it is your Uncle Pierre. Yes, it is. And he's like, it's the most adorable thing in the world. He's this big, like, yeah, he's like a stocky, like wide, scruffy looking Belgian man who just loves this cat. All right,
Love
let's
it.
go around. Will, what did you roll for your pal?
66 over 50.
Okay, so it's a fail. Regular fail?
Fail.
Okay. Okay, yeah. Marie, how did you do?
82 over 60.
Okay. 82 over 60. Okay. So, okay. How did Shyma do?
29 under 50. Regular
Perfect.
success.
Regular success. How did Bev do?
Success 13 over 60.
Okay, that's really good. Okay, excellent. It's like a hard success, it sounds like.
Mhm.
Or is it a critical?
Yeah, it's hard.
No, it's hard.
It's hard, yeah. 13 under 60, yeah. Patrick, how'd you do?
Extreme on an 8.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah.
Patrick, you...
I could spend 1 luck to get extreme too,
It's not
but I
worth
won't.
It's not worth it. Patrick, you sleep like a baby. Like, and when I say that, I mean it in the way that doesn't make sense, and that you sleep all night through restful, and when you awake, your leg is once more fully in your control. Like you feel no numbness left over. You even look at the inside of your leg, and you can see that those veins that had started to be pronounced have faded now. Like you can still see some remnants of it. The wound is still there, but like there's some slight discoloration, but it definitely looks like your leg is healing relatively quickly. Bev, you also finally get a good night's rest. You don't have any strange dreams about Viola. You don't have any strange dreams about the bear. So whatever a normal Bev dream is, maybe it's about Ed, maybe it's about somebody else, but whatever it is, you get by just fine. Shyma, you as well, no issues. You dream of your father, your mother, or whoever else what it was that would kind of be on the back of her mind. But the three of you, without any issue, wake up in the morning having felt perfectly refreshed. Marie, you and Will both have fitful sleeps. Will, yours is mostly an issue of you're constantly waking. And you realize that every time you wake, it's because you hear something. And it's the situation where you think there's actually sound, but that it kind of woke you up from it. But by the time your awareness catches up with your body being awake, you can no longer hear exactly where it is. But you feel like it's a bell. Like every now and then you just hear a ding, and then like you wake up and you hear the very tail end. But as you look around, you don't really see any. But it's constantly waking you up. But otherwise, you're able to fall back asleep. You're not attacked by scorpions. Your leg works. No weird bear comes to eat you. Nothing like that in particular happens. Marie, you are having a very horrific time falling asleep, tossing and turning. Once or twice you look over and you panic because you think that your cat Joy Boy is no longer with you. You're like, where do they go? And you see it is kind of nestled up on the mat where Pierre is kind of leaning back and sleeping, and it's just sort of upright against him. And you can see it's climbing up and trying to go into like one of his pockets where he keeps like these little goodies. And you can kind of calm down at that point. Eventually you fall asleep though. And you're awoken in the middle of the night, it feels like, to the sounds of like the sounds of like licking and slurping, and you feel numb from essentially the neck down. And when you contort your head and you look down your body, you can see that there are about a dozen cats that have climbed on top of you. And you can see some are like lapping up like they would a saucer of milk, what appears to be a large wound on your body. This dark kind of almost purplish blood is just like getting caught up in their fur. You can see others are like grabbing on with their teeth or with their paws, like a chunk of your flesh or a piece of energy, just kind of stretching and pulling it out, almost like it's like a piece of gum. And they're all kind of gnawing on it here and there. And you, with this horrific numbness, are like, as much as you possibly can, like your brain is telling your body to move over and over, and it just will not move. Roll a sand test.
No.
And one of those cats is Joy Boy. One of those cats, it's Princess Clarabelle.
Oh.
And she flicks you
Failed.
off. Okay.
62 over 55.
Take a point of sand loss.
Okay.
When morning comes, all of you are packing up and getting ready. You look over and you see Marie is still asleep. So Will, Bev, Patrick, Shyma, French guys, Jerome, all of you are awoke. It's just before dawn. Louis wants to get going. He's like, kind of like, we need to go. We need to catch up. Let's go. Let's be careful. We cannot drive the trucks too fast. We nearly lost Xanasco yesterday. And so like he's saying this, he's like, get everyone up and moving. And when you look around, you can see Marie is not awake.
It's just snoring.
I think Bev this time would be the one to like wake her up, maybe because we're in the same car or something.
Okay.
And like, hey, you can sleep in the car.
You come over and like
Try and nudge her awake.
just nudge her, just a little like soft little nudge.
Yeah.
Doesn't wake. No, she does not wake.
Will? And she'll call over Will.
Yeah, I'll get her. And I take my canteen and I splash a little bit of water on her too.
And she wakes up. Marie, you wake up with a start as there is a bunch of water on your face spilling off to
Not
the
a bunch,
sand.
not a lot. We gotta save this. We gotta conserve it.
Tons of water
Oh,
off
so
to the
much
side.
water.
And Marie, you wake up.
Oh,
You kind of you sit up. You're coughing a little bit from the water. You see there's Will on one side holding the canteen. There's Bev on the other. You see across there's Jerome kind of staring at the three of you. And you probably feel like your stomach, your chest, and there's no signs of harm.
What?
Sorry,
Oh.
you wouldn't wake up.
Oh, it was so. And she looks quickly for Joy Boy, and like maybe Bev had picked him up when she was trying to like wake Marie. Oh, okay. Oh, good. What a nightmare. I didn't sleep very well last night at all. I kept waking up, and then
Yeah,
when
same,
I did
same.
fall asleep, I was being so many cats. You would think that would be cute. You would think that would be adorable, but it was not. They were eating the inside and tearing out the inside of me, and it was so disgusting.
Just try to breathe. It was a bad dream. It's just a dream.
Yeah, it was. It was like I woke up and I couldn't move, and and then Marie just sort of like reaches for Joy Boy.
Yeah. And Bev hands it over. But like she kind of does it
I'm
slowly.
sorry. It?
Oh, sorry, him. Excuse me.
It?
I thought
It's
the same thing.
Wow.
Bev, not an animal lover. Who knew?
Jeez. Or Ashley, apparently.
I am.
Now she is with Elvis.
But do you? We need to get in the car. You can tell me about it in the truck.
Oh, yes, sure. And she's sort of like looking at Joy Boy, like you wouldn't tear out my insides, right?
When you look at Joy Boy, you can see there's a little reddish discoloration right around his mouth, like some sort of residue.
No.
Reddish brown.
No. And she will grab like the underside of her shirt or something and like wipe at his mouth. No. What do you have on you? What do you have on you? And she's just like wiping furiously.
You've cleaned it off. Like the cat doesn't seem particularly. I think Joy Boy's pretty chill, so the cat doesn't freak out about it.
And then
Just
she
kinda looks at you like, what the
looks
fuck
at the
is wrong with
shirt.
you?
And does the shirt have red on it now?
Yeah. It's like a reddish brown.
Oh, yes, Bev. Yes, let's go in the truck. Let's go in the truck. And so she's just like gathering things up quickly and trying to put that out of her mind.
Okay. So everyone loads up, continue. And if you have nothing that you're doing of note, get back on the road, so to speak, the proverbial road, not a real road, and you continue off. You have, at this point, like, I kind of mentioned this to you guys, there's like when you were in Djibouti for a bit, there was like the place called the Grand Bara Desert, and you guys have kind of pushed beyond that now. At this point, you're further north. You're not quite to the Danakil region, which is where Bilal would be, but you find yourselves traveling for a while. The elevation remains relatively consistent. Like there's a lot of these different ridges that crop up here and there. These sudden explosions of earth that just appear, and you're able to, whenever they can, kind of drive near them, take a moment, let the trucks kind of cool, and then start on again. And somewhere around midday, you go over a rise. As like this small little kind of a rise between these two larger chunks of rock, and you look out and you can see there's like a swale that goes down, like swoops down, and you can see in the distance like there's this sort of sun-bleached area where you can tell there is great deal of activity. You can see like what looks like these small little domes, like these dome-like huts. You can see what looks like people coming and going. You can see one or two like groupings of people, one moving away from it, one moving towards it. Some you can see, most of them you can see are carrying these, not carrying, but they're bringing these camels with them. So they're stacked with these different blocks. You can see it from a distance. You see what looks like the remnants here and there, though, for those of you that are keen-eyed, of buildings, like stone blocks and things like that, suggesting like this is built atop, or this is settled atop the ruins of something. You also notice what looks like a series of of people that have kind of like gathered around as you're looking down at like this sort of central spot, and they're kind of, looks like they're bargaining or trading, and you're seeing all of this at a distance. And Louis turns to whoever's in the car with him. So if it's Will again, it's like, this is Sabu Rimu. We are at the edge of the wind, he says to you, Will. And again, my Mr. Sawyer, you must please be on your best behavior. This is a very contentious time.
Always on my best behavior. You got it.
If you are always on your best behavior, then you are also always on your worst behavior, are you not?
That's a philosophical paradox.
What is the paradox?
Well, how can you be on the best behavior and the worst behavior at the same time? That's the paradox.
Because you have only one level of behavior. And so by definition, it would have to be both your best and your worst.
Exactly. That's the paradox.
I don't think that is a paradox.
Maybe I don't know what a paradox is.
I would not be surprised.
I'm on my best behavior. You got it.
And so you guys drive down, and you can see like there's some smoke funneling up here and there from what you imagine are like cook fires or some such. You also pass by what looks like these bleached markers along like these different walking paths and such that are kind of spiraling out from this. You see coming down from one of the ridges and sweeping into the settlement itself, there's this brackish spring. As you get closer, notice that there are these kind of thorn-penned camels, thorn pens for like camels. You can see groups of them as they are herd-like. You don't really notice anyone really riding them as much as you see them mostly being used as like these these pack animals. There's a lot of gusts of wind as opposed to like steady hits. It's just like a gust here and a gust there, and you see like some sort of flap kind of go up here or clothing go up there. The trucks are stopped at a distance from where some of these domed structures are. You realize when you get closer, that doesn't look like they're built in a particular in a way that suggests longevity. They look like almost more robust tents that could probably be broken down and carried with them. And you even see some people coming and going that have those things kind of either on their backs or on camels and such. And you kind of get the sense that everything here is built in such a way as to be modular and transportable. You notice that the men all are like the men you see are they're dressed in some ways like Jerome, but you notice more like they're wearing these kind of sort of lighter colored like loincloths almost that droop down, and like occasionally some of them have sashes, but some of them are just kind of bare chested. You can see many of them, their hair is kind of bushed out, or in some cases is sort of drooped down to the side. All of them you can see are like, well, not all of them, many of them are carrying like spears. A few are carrying, you noticed, guns, like these old rifles, and then all of them have what looks like knives on their waists and such. The women, most of them that you see are dressed in a similar fashion. Some of them have slightly more colorful linens, but as everyone kind of gets out of the trucks and begins to approach, you can see that some of the women and a lot of any signs of children, which you probably saw some from a distance, begin to disappear. And you see coming up to you all is a group of what looks like mostly men, maybe 5 or 6. Some of them with spears that are taller than them, and kind of steps forward, and like they say something to the group, and you see that like Jerome steps in front of you all, says a few words back. And he seems to direct it towards this one older looking man. And you can see some of them have like beads sort of adorning them here and there. And they exchange sort of a few words or pleasantries. He kind of points back to you, and he starts kind of gesturing with his right arm and kind of naming. And you will hear your name, just something that kind of pop up every now and then. And then when he says Louis's name, like Louis steps forward, and he does the same thing. And a couple of the figures kind of step forward and like they ask questions, and like there's an exchange. You can say now like Louis is finally talking, and there's a little bit of tension, like because you see these large spears, and everyone's just kind of taking a breath and sort of watching. Those of you again keen-eyed, you see like a flap of one of these little domes kind of like open up, and someone kind of peek through, but ultimately like there's a handshake you can see, and an exchange, and like someone hands over what looks like some kind of skin, some kind of goat skin to Louis, and Louis kind of motions back, and you see Pierre and you see Jean. Like they come up and they're carrying what looks like some of the offerings, like whatever's left of whatever you were able to salvage at the tea, some of the spools that Patrick was able to salvage, a few other items like coffee and such. And like there's like this exchange. And then he motions for you all to kind of step forward. And as you do, I presume.
Yes, cautiously.
You can see some of these figures that have been that live here, right? That came to greet you, step forward, and they look at you and they kind of go down the line. Are any of you doing or saying anything, or is there anything that you're trying to glean in this moment? Like how would you say you're behaving?
I would say that Marie's watching how they greeted each other. So sort of like was it a handshake? Was it a little bit of a bow? Like what were the mannerisms? So I would say that's what she was attending to.
Okay. All right. So you're just trying to mimic what you see. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me like a psychology test, maybe.
And make sure you pass, because Will's going to mimic whatever you do.
And then Bev and Shyma, I mean, well, I know Bev for sure. I can't remember if Shyma has it or not, but anthropology, if the two of you could potentially roll that instead of psychology if you would like to.
Ooh.
Sorry, I missed what you said. What could I roll into the psychology?
If I can't remember if Shyma has it. Anthropology, if you have it like Bev has,
I
you're welcome to
don't.
roll it.
I should have a decent psychology though.
Yeah, give that a roll.
So Marie,
and then-
I rolled a 53 for my psychology with it as a pass.
Okay. Good. And then if you don't have either of those things, spot hidden is fine too. Like you can just roll that as well. Okay.
Got a 9 under an 81.
Oh,
Extreme
phenomenal.
success.
That is phenomenal. Okay.
I
That's
used
awesome.
Bev, you got
all
a
the good
regular.
rolls today, guys. Sorry.
Get it, girl. I passed my anthropology, just a normal success, 67 over 80.
Okay. So one of the things that you noticed is there seems to be like a process where like that like Jerome spoke and seemed to do some sort of introduction of the Foreign Legion, and then they stepped forward and you can tell that Louis was speaking, and there was like an exchange where like one of the men who had greeted your party kind of came over and like gave him something, and he like took like a small sip of it like from this gourd, and then kind of passed it along, and they kind of start doing that to you all as well. But one of the things I would say psychology, you notice Shyma, do you speak Arabic?
I don't know.
Okay. One of the things you notice is like as they're like shaking hands, like they're drinking and passing this gourd to different people, you notice like everything's done with like the right arm, like the right hand, everything's being there. Like you never see at any point them kind of grab it or shake hands with the left hand. And you also notice that every time a handshake happens, and anyone who passed would have noticed this, it's when they initiate as opposed to the other way around. And so this gourd eventually gets passed around to each of you. Do all of you drink it? Does anyone balk at drinking it?
Give it a sniff before I do.
Patrick, you give it a sniff, and it smells a bit sour. Whatever it is, it smells. It's a little bit pungent.
We'll give it a big gulp.
Give it a big gulp. You do. You just so you take this big gulp of it, and it is sour milk. Basically, is what it is. It's like a goat milk, and it's very sour. It's not like you guys are out in the desert. You're not in Narcom.
Right.
So it's probably not like, so like that you've been on the road now for like 4 days or so. So it's probably not like this awful, horrific thing, but it definitely hits your palate in a way probably other things that you've had hasn't, right? So maybe it's a little bit shocking. And then you take a huge gulp of it. And when you bring it down, those of you who rolled really well in psychology, like Shyma, you notice that there was a little bit of like their head, like each of their heads kind of turned at Patrick as he took such a big portion, and they as if they like took note of it, like they kind of look, and then they sort of exchange a look with each other, and they look back to Patrick as well. But it doesn't seem to go much further than just they seem to demonstrate they were aware of the fact of what he has taken.
And I chase it down with the splash of my flask whiskey.
So you pull out your flask and you drink. Okay. And that too seems to be observed. Do you offer it?
If there's the guy in front of me, like
Sure.
push it to the front of him.
So
Better.
You push it. Okay. You push it to the front. Okay. I need you to roll a luck test.
Okay.
Oh dear God.
He just forgot he has a freaking thing on his arm.
Oh,
I failed by 5.
so close.
What?
Shit.
2 questions. Is your
on my
gnawing,
tab.
is the national? It's on your left or on your right?
On left.
Okay. All right. it makes it suddenly, you hear this gnashing and this moving around, and you feel the moisture underneath the fabric as the mouth once more seems to animate. And you can see that as you hand with your other arm the like your flask out, he kind of recoils at this point, and you can see he reaches down towards this knife that he has on his waist, and there's this extremely tense moment where all of them do, and they kind of look at you. How do you react, Patrick?
I'll spill the flask to make it look like an accident's occurred. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Do you have
Sleight of hand.
sleight of hand? Okay, I'll take it. I was gonna say it's not deception. What's it called in here? Fast talk? No, because you're not really talking. You're not really talking.
Yeah.
So
It's probably just sleight of hand, I guess.
I'll take sleight of hand. Sure.
Oh dear.
Nice.
Oh dear.
It was like a performance thing that Marie has.
Yeah, there's performance, but performance usually goes underneath an art, and that usually is like it's somewhat rare. So
I got a 62 was a fail, but I'll spend 2 luck to get a pass.
Okay. So you spill your flask, and it falls to the ground, and it's like spilling this booze onto the ground after you were just offering this. There was this now, and it kind of fumbles in your hand, and he like steps back, and he's got this hand on his waist, and suddenly like Jerome and like Louis are like putting, kind of arms up, and they're like, dude, and then you hear them speaking and saying things. And it takes a moment of them smoothing things over before you see the man in front of you finally ease and like then takes a step back, having not ever received your gift since you dropped it on the ground. Is anybody else trying to accomplish anything or do anything or learn anything? Like, do each one of you just kind of follow suit and just do whatever it is that you saw like Louis and the French guys do?
Yeah, I'd be mimicking them more than our hosts.
Okay.
Physically, yes, and just mentally sort of filing all this away because I definitely want to document it later.
Okay. So it's this relatively tense standoff since Patrick's moment, but each of you eventually takes this sip from this gourd. You feel that weird flavor that if you're not familiar with it, it's not like it's a bad flavor. It's just if you're unfamiliar with it, you're not prepared for it, it might hit you in a way that you're not familiar with. But ultimately, each of them kind of shakes your hands, and you can tell that there's a moment of calm. Will, you carry a gun, right?
2.
Okay. How do you carry them? Are they like
shoulder
pistols?
holsters, but I do
Okay.
have the tunic over it right now, so they'd be a little bit harder to access.
Okay. All right. Let me roll a little test.
And yes, they're both pistols.
Okay. You notice, I would say. Well, actually, no, you wouldn't notice because did you roll a psych? Did you roll a psychology test?
I rolled a psychology test to see if I could figure out what Marie was doing, and I failed.
Okay. I would say, Shyma, you had the extreme success. So you would notice that once all of the craziness has died down from Patrick's situation, you can tell that more than once along that kind of row of men that has greeted you, you can see a few of them are kind of staring at Will, and they're kind of peering. And when you look at them, you can see that a few of them have a little bit of scarring, like along their eyes or along their foreheads and such. And they're the 2 of them are kind of staring at Will. And when you look over Shyma, you can see that where their eyes are kind of directed at is where like one of the pistols that he has tucked underneath the like his sash, right, is slightly protruding, and there's a little bit of a bulge. Not both of them, but just the one. And you can tell that they are staring at that. Doesn't seem as though they necessarily freak out about it, but they are aware of it.
Sure. Can I lean over to Will after having noticed this and say kind of quietly, I'm not like whispering anything, but I am saying it quietly. Uh, just make sure you're not threatening at all. They've noticed your guns.
Oh, I'm not trying to hide them. I like pull my tunic to like it's fine.
So Louis will lean over. Best behavior, Mr. Sawyer. Please, when this is done, put them back down, keep them hosted, unload them, and put them back in the truck. Yes?
Might need them.
You will not need them here.
Okay.
Correct. And you notice for the first time, because you failed your psychology, they're not the Foreign Legion guys. They're gone. They don't have their guns out anymore. You don't see them. They have knives and stuff. You can see like each of them has a knife and everything. Like that's not an issue. But like they don't. And they like in a little like a little slip or something on their waist. But that they didn't bring their rifles with them. And you can see that their side pistols they don't have with them either.
And Will's been to Africa, but he's not been to this side of Africa. And he's also not dealt with these kind of cultural exchanges. He was always at like a post or something like that. So he really didn't even think twice about that or about what he should be doing.
Okay. So after this eventual bit dies down, you can see like the tension sort of eases to some degree, and the men seem to be satisfied. And after kind of introducing themselves to each of you, they begin to disperse. You see Jerome goes with them. You can see Jerome is very interested and like is kind of chatting here and there. And then your contact Louis says, "They've accepted us. We are here. They have offered us their hospitality for a day or more. Please
Oh, thank
ensure."
goodness.
Yes, they are very honorable people. If you are honorable to them as well. Now, we need to make arrangements to acquire some camels. Our mechanics will see to the trucks to ensure that they are in good condition. We also need to resupply. If you would be so kind as to help me unload some of the trade goods that we can use to acquire said camels. But otherwise, when you are exploring, please be on your best behavior and leave the guns in the truck. Yes?
Put them away now.
You
And,
are a big,
Will-
strong man, are you not? Big, strong American man. You should have no trouble.
Will is a tiny, scrawny person, so
Oh, he was making fun of you. Yes.
I'm saying he doesn't even believe it himself.
And Marie
But
has a
he will put
firearm
his guns away.
in her bag, so Marie will go with Will,
Okay.
because she has a gun.
If it was in your
her
bag, they didn't
bag.
notice it. Yeah.
Yeah,
they
but
wouldn't have
she'll,
noticed
hearing the instructions, she'll go with Will to put hers
Okay.
back in the truck as well.
it. Okay. So eventually, you all, like you help unload the truck, and you can see like a lot of they leave the trucks outside of this little settlement area. They don't kind of drive them through, like that would be completely absurd. But they nonetheless keep a distance. What do you think all of you would like to do while you're here? There are sections of shade. There's water. There's that brackish spring. It does not seem as though that you are having any resistance to moving around. You can even see some children have started to come back out into the streets and moving around, and they are extraordinarily curious, but they kind of keep a distance from you. What are you all doing? What do you think?
One of the when Shyma had that like oddly restful sleep last night, she sort of unexpectedly, I think Jean of all people kind of popped up in her dream. So she's summoning some courage to finally go speak to him because she would like to ask him a couple things. So
Okay.
she would like to find him.
Sure. He is probably like someone has to be on like kind of watch duty, and you can see that a lot of the trucks, the mechanics, the drivers are working on them. And then you know that Pierre and Louis have probably gone off to make arrangements for the camel. So you probably find him over there. And they're at a distance to the point where he does have his rifle out. But he's not near it. And yeah, and he's there and he's just kind of looking out like along the ridge and just sort of eyeing if at any point a group of traders comes up, like these salt traders or leave in that respect. Either way, he's just kind of keeping an eye on them. So he's available to speak with if you'd like.
I would like to approach and just shortwave. Mr. Dubois? Jean?
What?
Sorry?
Yes, Jean, of course. Yes. No one calls me Mister.
And she kind of chuckles and go play. Do you have I know you're in the middle of your watch, but do you have a few minutes to speak?
Yes, of course. I don't suspect there will be any trouble here. To be honest, there are many more fearsome warriors here than myself. If the Italians are foolish enough to come close, I'm sure we will hear about it long before they are here. I am sure we were seen long before we arrived as well. So, what can I do for you?
Okay. Well, the first thing is I wanted to thank you. I didn't think I needed anyone to check on me, but Miss Wynn did yesterday, and you've done it a few times since we've been here, and it was just nice. So thank you.
Of course.
For that.
Yes, of course. We all must. We cannot get through this life on our own, so everyone needs to help each other time to time to touch base to ensure that we are safe of body and of mind. Of course. More than are you okay?
I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. And she just shoves the stuff even deeper pocket to make sure it's not visible.
While you're like sitting here, he like pulls out like some rolling papers, and you see him like rolling up like or actually no, he probably pulls out like a couple pre-rolled cigarettes that he's already has, and he's kind of tucked away, and he kind of pulls one out. Would you?
I would love one. I haven't had one in a very long time.
Okay. So he hands it over to you. Yeah, and he's like whoosh, throws a match up, and so like it's just like this fresh roll tobacco, no filter. This is 1937. This is early days. This is like he did it by himself. This isn't, so it's like you're getting the full effect. And he's just like, and even though it is hot, for some reason, it still cools me down.
Very good though.
Don't understand.
Did you roll these yourself?
Yeah, of course I did. Yes. That cat nearly got into my stash. Wouldn't that have been terrible? Swing would have killed me. Yes.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I wanted to so I wanted to and if we don't have role players, I'm just kind of seeding for if we might spend a little time like in the next while. I wonder if I might. You said if we do make it back, maybe you can show me where the French Foreign Legion trains and how you train. But I wanted to see what the desert was like, and the windstorms and with the scorpion attack for Miss Price or here, and now seeing what the settlement is. I think it would be a good thing for me to learn a little bit more about life out here and survival and that kind of thing. And it seems like you know that.
Would it? Oh yes.
Would I be able to pick your brain over the next little one?
Of course, yes, I would be more than happy to. Yes, yes. We will be getting more difficult. The windstorm was particularly aggressive. They're usually not so localized. And yes, scorpions can be a trouble at times, but never in quite so many number. You are seeing the worst. But there is beauty to be found here. Very wonderful things to find and see. But where we are going, we are. I've heard tales. The place is it is different than anything you will have ever seen. But we have several days. Of course, I'll be more than happy to help you. Yes, yes.
Okay. That. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Also, since you're gonna be spending some time with me, I feel like I need to come a little clean about something because I sort of lied before. I'm not just a research assistant, and her voice is like a little shaky, and she kind of looks away. Like
See.
that story that Mr. Price told about the fighting pets and being hunted on the island, and I was there too. He didn't include me in his story, and that's.
So you're saying that was true? I thought he was just telling it all tale as we do.
No, it there were some very horrible things that happened, and I thought I was going to die. I thought he was going to die, and it kind of pulls out this numbers like I lost my hand because of things that happened on the island. You know, before all of this, I never really hurt anyone the way I've hurt a lot of people in the last little while, and not like being a soldier where it's sort of clean and you're kind of ordered to do it, but just I worked in the library and I was I don't know, I figured out my course, but a wrestle, and it's not the same, I tried to go to the police about it, but they said it was maybe just self-defense. So, I'm just trying to protect the people that are important to me and that are important to this, and that's why I'm asking for your help. Is because I don't want to slow anything down. I don't want to be a burden. I want to still be useful, and I don't want this to slow anything down. And then she kind of holds this number.
You have not been a burden at all. If anything, Mr. Price and Dr. Key, and even Miss Wynne to a degree, slowing us down here and there, but it is understandable. These are very difficult conditions. Not all are familiar with it, but no, you and even Mr. Sawyer seem to have been acclimating just fine. I think, no. And I understand somewhat what you are going through. I was never a violent child. I did not hurt people, did not like to get hurt. And the Legion has provided me an opportunity to see the world, to see other people, to learn new cultures and such, but it also comes with an obligation to occasionally do violent things. And it is not the part of the institution that I enjoy, but unfortunately there are very, very bad people in the world. And sometimes the only way that you can stop them is to do to them what they would do to others. And as long as you are only hurting people who would try to hurt others, then I think you can rest easy at night.
I don't think I've ever thought about it that way, John.
French philosophers or something. Perhaps it is rubbing off on me.
She kind of smiles, and I'm very happy I spoke with you.
Of course. Oh, yes, anytime. Yes. You're welcome to anytime. Now, I suppose I should pretend I'm doing my job before Louis sees me. So, go explore, enjoy. It is a fascinating culture. And he kind of starts looking around, pretending like he's actually doing his job. Okay, excellent. Fade out of there. What the rest of you doing? So you have this.
Will
moment?
back at the truck would try to flag down Patrick if he hasn't gone too far.
Yeah, I'm still here. What's up, Will?
Patrick, let's get the bandage changed on your leg real quick. It's been a while.
You hear Pierre as he's like packing up with Louis. Do you need help? I can get my bag.
No, I got it. It's fine.
Okay. We shall be over. And he kind of points somewhere. There's where is it? The camel broker's awning. It's on that way. You will find it. You will see it. It is where all the camels are if you need this.
If I need you. Good to know.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick, wow, this is looking really gross and infected. I don't think you're supposed to have that much pus.
I'm feeling fine. I can do this myself. But...
No, do you have any more of that booze? Maybe a fresh bottle we can clean it out with?
I spilled it earlier, didn't you see?
Well, you got another stash, though, don't you?
I'm not going to
What
waste
do you
those
refill
food.
your flask with?
What are you getting at, Will? What is this?
I'm just trying to clean it out.
All right, if you insist. Make it quick.
Yeah. I crack open the bottle and I pour it on there, not doing much.
Is that really necessary?
Yeah, we got to clean it out. I bandage it back up. And then I want to attempt to steal the bottle of booze.
Okay. Before that happens, Patrick, give me a luck test.
All right.
Surprise to no one. This is what Will wanted.
Hey, the first pass, 32.
Okay. The as he's helping you with your leg wound, you feel the mouth move a little bit. You probably wrap something around it once the moment dispersed, but it doesn't manage to connect and lash out at Will as Will reaches in and helps. Okay, so Will, sleight of hand.
I have a 10 sleight of hand.
Patrick, give me a spot hidden.
Oh, I rolled a 6. Not a regular success.
I failed.
Okay. All right. Maybe even though the mouth doesn't lunge out at Will, it does start to act up again. And you can feel like whatever it is that you put in it to keep it to get it to shut the hell up before before anyone else saw it. Maybe it acts up again and you quickly start to wrap something around it. And then that little moment, Will, you're able to grab it.
Patrick, that thing's kind of out of hand. These people, they're probably pretty superstitious. You might want to keep to yourself for the night, just so we don't raise any suspicion or anything like that.
I'm definitely trying, but...
Well, anyways, I'm going to go ahead and take off. You got the rest of this from here.
Let's go see what we can glean from these people.
Oh, I was going to go, they need help with the camels. That's what they were just saying. They need me over there.
All right, I'll see you in there.
Yeah. And I walk the other way.
Okay. All right.
What's wrong with
Marie or
that boy?
Bev? Lots. You just hear like one of the French guys who's like working on the truck. Many things from what I hear. Yes, he is a pain in the ass. I hear. Yes. He's lucky he is not in a prison somewhere. Oh, you were speaking rhetorically. I apologize. I thought you wanted. Yeah, okay. So, Marie
I did not
and
expect
Bev.
that to work.
Yeah, it's because you lied about your role. Marie and Bev. What did you guys want to do at this point? You're at the edge of this sort of semi-permanent settlement. This water spring, camel trading, salt trading. stuff like that all is happening. Shyma has stepped off a little bit. You can see Shyma and Will and Patrick kind of return to the trucks. And you can see like Louis and Pierre are like kind of carrying like on their shoulders like these crates, these spools, and they're kind of moving into this like little settlement area and away from the trucks. What are the two of you up to?
Bev would head into the village and maybe kind of trailing behind Jerome, not necessarily like intentionally following him, but walking behind him into the village.
Okay.
And she'll look around and kind of see who seems like open with trying to speak with her. Like she doesn't know afar, but you know, if the kids seem like open to playing, or if there's someone crafting something, like maybe sitting down next to them and observing.
Okay. Give me a spot hidden, we'll say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
79.
it's a fail.
Yeah.
Okay. You're basically following Jerome for a little bit, who was talking with one or two of the guys who greeted your party when you arrived. And you hear the sounds of like a child laughing, and you see like they dart out in front of you, not towards you, but they just like dart past you, and like they kind of tumble down to the side a little bit, kind of tripping over something in the ground. And when you look back up, Jerome is gone.
Okay. Yeah, and then if like the kid fell down or whatever, she'll try and like help them up.
You reach out to help this child up, and you suddenly hear something smash against the ground, and it kind of jolts. And you see that standing next to you, there is an afar man with like the same kind of clothing, the same kind of attire that you saw. He's got, again, like that. It's mostly like you can see half his chest is bare, and he's got like this long spear, and he smashes it onto the ground, kind of in front of you as you move in the direction of the child, right between you and the child. And you can see he's like staring at you with like these sort of
the message
eyes.
Is clear, so she like will put her hands up kind of like in submission to his request, and she'll take a clear step back.
He kind of spins it around again, and then he kind of puts it back on his shoulder at that point as you step away. You look up again, and you realize whoever Jerome was walking with is no longer in sight as well. And you're kind of left a little bit on an island here. Like you're like a pebble in the middle of a river as all these different people kind of move about you. And you see a lot of things. Like it's a busy place. Like you can see plenty of men moving about, some of them with these weapons on their hands. You can see all of them are barefoot, by the way. You can see women that are outside of some of these hearths and huts. You can see some of them are like stirring things in these pots, like a porridge or some kind of like yogurt of some kind. Occasionally you hear the sounds of children, but definitely any of them who begin to move in your direction are kind of quickly pulled back towards themselves. Like they're almost like they're not letting the kids get too close to you.
Yeah.
You notice that, and you hear the sounds of like goats and such, like occasionally, and you certainly see like there's droppings here and there from time to time. And you can see that there are others that are kind of doing some kind of craft work where they're like kind of working on, like they have just like skinned something, and they're kind of trying to kind of clean it and salt it in some way. What would Bev try to do next?
I think realizing the clear distinction of like she's not supposed to like approach these people, like she got the message. She'll kind of just do that where she is just kind of observing.
Yeah.
Maybe she will pull out a book and she'll read a book in a spot of shade that she can find where she's not intruding on anything, but she is just kind of immersing herself in this culture as unobtrusively as she can.
I like it. Give me. Have you managed to tick to get an experience tick on anthropology yet?
Yes, I did today.
Okay. All right. I would say if you kind of stay out of if like you just find some small bit of shade and you just kind of pull out a book and start reading, no one bothers you whatsoever. Actually, like they kind of move past you. You definitely can sense the fact that there are people who are looking at you. Like you do stick out quite severely. But no one seems to.
And if she catches the eye with someone, she will like wave, like try to be friendly. But if no one approaches her, she won't approach others.
Yeah, you don't really get a lot of return waves.
If there's like a greeting that she witnessed that's appropriate to do to people, like if she's
it's not
watching,
so much that it's more just like they're just more kind of curious about you than they are like extremely comfortable with you.
She's just trying to
you get
make
a nod or something like that.
It's clear that she's trying to be friendly, if anything.
Okay. All right. What about Marie? What is Marie doing?
So Marie had gone back with Will to kind of put her firearm in the truck. She's trying to follow the rules, and that is what she heard. And then she will ask any of the kind of Foreign Legion folks that are there, if there's anything here, can we trade, or what would that look like? Because if there's something crafted or something like that, if I wanted to trade it, would that be appropriate?
Okay. So we'll say maybe you speak with Salim. He is like this this sort of slender Algerian man who speaks pretty good French, but also has like a couple bits of English, and so he'll speak with you. And if you're asking, like, he's a captain, and yeah, they took many of goods, but if you want to, there are other things, as long as you are careful not to offend. You can try to find things here. Their knives are particularly good. And he like kind of points to like one of the canisters in there. There are coffee beans. You could he's like not, you can tell English is not his best language.
Yeah.
You can get beets. And so he's like kind of mimicking all the things that you could potentially get. They are excellent at crafting them.
Yes, yes, something pretty.
Yes. You can get something pretty. Yes.
And so Marie is kind of taking that to understand that, like, she could take some of the coffee to trade. Is that what she was understanding? Or they have good coffee?
Yeah. I mean, that's what he said.
Okay. Because Marie's, her drive is artistic sensitivity. So she is definitely all about, like, let's see what kind of artistic creations are there to be found.
Excellent.
And so she may have, she doesn't have much with her, but she may have, like, even maybe like a pair of earrings that she has that could possibly be something that she could part with as a trade, or, something like that she would also attempt. So that's what she would want to do, is make sure that it's kind of okay. And then she would go out to just see what there is there that looks artistic.
Sure. So you start to wander out into Saborimo, and you move around, and it's very warm. It's midday. A lot of people have found shade here and there, awnings and tents and lean-tos and such. you can see that like there's little cooking fires, and you hear like voices on the wind. Occasionally your ears, a musician kind of picks up the sound of singing of some kind, or humming or whatever. You find that at some point you see like Captain Moreau and Pierre. You can see like they're over by this like this kind of camel pen, and you can see like they're in this lengthy conversation with the local man, and you can see like stacks of salt blocks, like seem to be a fairly common trade good, and many of these camels are either getting loaded or unloaded with them. And you also find that there are a couple other places, like there's like there's this small little marker where there's like this kind of smoky looking boulder, and like you can see around it there are these little markings on it. You're not sure exactly what they mean, some sort of blessing or something, you think. But you see that there are a handful of these other small tents and domes, and there's people working. You can see some women are kind of threading, looks like some kind of hair, maybe like camel or goat hair or something like that. And there's like putting some kind of like rocky beads in it here and there. You can see that there is an older man out in front of like this contraption, and you can see he's sharpening against a stone this knife that almost glints in the sun as well. What would you try to trade for here?
I mean, she, being Marie, she would go towards the woman who's threading the bracelet.
Okay. If you ever want to see what these knives look like, by the way, Gile, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, Jile.
Okay.
Freaking cool. So they're like little curve. Like you probably have seen them in other things before, but they're pretty awesome.
Either Patrick or someone can look at the knives. Marie's
okay. I just thought like okay. Okay. So you go up to this woman, and you can see she's dressed again, not a whole lot different from what you saw some of the others. Kind of light cloth or shawl, kind of like diagonally across her. You can see that she is her hair is covered with this kind of black headscarf, and you can see like hanging from her ears, and like kind of from like around her neck, and even like a little bit on her wrist. You can see these like bits of glass and stone and amber, where seems to be the adornments. She's a little bit older, you can tell, and you even hear the sounds of like a child kind of through on the other side of that like kind of tent flap that is not yet out here. You guess she's probably a mother. You can see off to the side like there's like a goat skin flask here or there, but she is just kind of humming to herself as she's kind of threading this, and she sees you approach. You can see she stops for a moment, and she just like watches you.
And Marie, as she does, she's used to being able to like smile, and she kind of points to, kind of what she's working on, and just in just her way, just says like, "That's beautiful." And like her face kind of brightens as she says it. She
says something to you that you have no idea what she says. She doesn't yell it, she just says it.
Yeah. Trade. And so she'll kind of use her hands to, kind of motion a trade. And she has these, and they're not expensive by any means, but it's like a handcrafted sort of little metallic small earrings that she has, and she'll sort of like take them, and trade, and she'll kind of offer.
Okay. So she puts her hand out.
Yeah.
And you put the earring in, and she takes it, and she looks. What are they? Like, what are they made out of?
Like silver.
Okay. So you can see she reaches up, and she can see she plucks from her ear like this little, like kind of amber studded with a tiny little cloth kind of hanging down from it. And at the end of it, there is like a small little stone wrapped in some kind of braided hair. She takes that. She looks at the two of them, and then she extends her hand towards you now, having taken her own, and she hands it to you.
And Marie's face just like lights up. Like she loves this kind of thing. And this hasn't been part of our travels really. And so she so she kind of cautiously sort of puts her hand out, kind of like, really? Like very like excited. And she'll, kind of like extend her hand towards the woman holding her earrings out.
Okay. So you basically exchange earrings. That's what it sounds like. And she takes them and she looks at them and she kind of tries to hear them however she would hear them.
And
she kind of looks off to the side.
Marie has kind of looking around. And again, if there's sort of like a bow of just like, thank you. And Marie will, she'll put those earrings on. And so she's kind of putting the, and just
she
smiles.
says something as you do it. She says something. There's a little bit of a smile. She says something again. You have no idea what she's saying, but she says it a few times. And then you see she starts to look down and goes back to her work, occasionally like peeking up back at you.
Could Marie try, because she repeated a word a couple times, could Marie try to like make note of that word? Like whatever sounds, like obviously she's not going to know it, but just a sound that got repeated.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like a listen or something to.
No, you can just do it. I don't think you need to roll for it.
Okay. Thinking that it's some type of pleasantry that, she'll just sort of make a mental note of. And Marie's like, and she will look at some of the other things that are, kind of in the area as well.
I wouldn't mind a listen test from you though, if you want to give me that.
All right. I'm trying to roll under a 61. 41.
Got good ears. Okay. You start like kind of looking around what others are doing here. And at a certain point, like again, I said a few times you've heard some humming. And it's then that you start to hear the humming a little bit louder, and you're kind of going from little spot to spot where someone has set up in the shade. A few people are eating. You see some people are working. You see some people are just resting. And going from place to place. And you continue to hear this humming. And it's actually starting to make you a little uncomfortable. There's something about it. And as like you're looking around, and maybe in a slightly more frantic state than you intend, it dawns on you what this sounds like. And you remember back to your first night in Mexico City, where all of you had went to, I think it was La Cucaracha. I think that's where you went for the first night.
Yeah.
And there was this song that was being played. And most of you were at the table. And you felt this rough, like almost like someone, like this rough tongue was going up your spine. And then later, after that moment of like you feeling this awkward feeling, Pastor Wood, I think, had described that when you went to take a drink from your cerveza, I think it was, your tongue just seemed to droop out of your mouth longer than it should.
Yep.
That is exactly the sound. It's obviously just humming. It's just a basic melody. But I need you to roll a sand test.
Oh gosh. She was trying so hard to be on her best behavior and be polite, and
you could have not listened.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Did it plug your ears?
Oh no. 63 over 54.
Take 1 point of sand as you feel that same rough tongue just right up your spine, and like your back kind of arcs as it happens. And like there's this unsettling shake. And then it passes. And when it does, you no longer hear the humming.
And Marie has again been very careful about her gait and her everything, and she looks like a silly woman who is just doing the like full body wiggle, like this is just like so uncomfortable, and she's just so unnerved, and she's like looking in different directions, and then it stops suddenly, and then she just goes, like, she's been fairly flushed because of the heat, and that had kind of cooled down a little bit, and now she's just full on beet red, and just feels like everyone must be watching her. And so that sort of this sand loss is just sort of this feeling of like she's misbehaved. She called attention to herself, like we're supposed to be like on our best here, and didn't. And so now she's just like avoiding all eye contact, and like night and day from what she was, after sort of this trade.
So as we fade out of there with you acting uncomfortably and looking around, to be fair to you, no one seems to really be noticing your discomfort, or at least they're not letting it on. Say a little while later, unless there's any other things that you all wanted to call out immediately.
Yeah, I want to call something real quick.
Yeah, man, go for it.
Yeah, my time spent here, I would like to look into more occult paraphernalia, if there's anything like that around.
Interesting. Is there a particular, when you say occult paraphernalia, is there a particular thing you're looking for?
Just in general, maybe if there's any markings about in the village, maybe some traditions they take part in, something that looks religious.
Okay. You can roll. I mean, an anthropology would be great. You could do.
I can do occult since we gained
occult's
some
fine.
last time.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Let's do occult.
With the fresh 5 in it, let's see what it gets. A 43. Let's see how much luck that is. 38 to pass. I'll just blow it.
You're gonna.
My gosh.
I love
I love the way
I
Log
was
plays
gonna
the
offer to help.
currencies.
Instead of 38, I'll do
This
42
is so
for
much
extreme.
better.
Wow.
That's doing the math. It's like, why not? What's the difference? Holy crap. Okay. All right. So you start moving. Are you like, you're moving about this encampment?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the idea? And you're looking. So are you doing it like the way Marie is doing it, in the sense of?
I'm not trying to interact with anybody. I'm more of like a snooping, observing, seeing what's happening.
Okay. You find at one point, as you're moving about, there's a lot of things that's hard probably for Patrick to do. So Patrick's a barber. He's not like a scholar. His skills in anthropology and occultism are probably not particularly high, but like you've hung around Bev, you've hung around Shyma, you've done some reading, you've been some places now at this point. And while the subtleties of the differences between like what is just like a different culture and norm for that culture, and then what is occult, is probably difficult for you to sense. One of the things that you are probably pretty good at is just a judgment of people, right? Of like you, people come in and you kind of talk them up at the barbershop and you kind of get a sense of their worth. And you notice that there is a old woman, elderly woman, which you can see is God, you couldn't even put a number on her, but her skin sort of leathery and scarred. And that's something you've seen quite frequently, is that there's a lot of scarring on many of the people in this place. It's not like to the extreme of the stranger you met on the road, but you do see like a lot of it's along the forehead or around the eyes in some ways. But you can see her as well. She's got some you would think are burn scars. But at a certain point, when you go over and you walk past her, you see her kind of. She's got like a jackal carcass, or you think it is, or like a wolf of some kind, something of a canine variety, right? And you can see that she's just like reaching into it at times and just pulling things out, and she's sort of setting off to the side what looks like a pile of bones. And in other places, she's like setting aside like a pile of like organs and innards, right? And you can see that others around her are like, people are kind of keeping up. There's no one near her. Like they're keeping a wide distance. In fact, you're probably the person who's gotten closest to where she's working. She looks up at you at one point, and you can see she eyes you for a second. Her eyes are kind of milky white in some ways. Like you can tell like age is started to hit them. And she has hanging behind her these like dried like herbs. But she's just reaching in, and she's kind of staring at you as she does it. And you can tell that there's something about what she's doing to you, like what she's doing in front of you, that it feels as though she's doing something that is kind of she's not just butchering this animal for feed, right? She's not just butchering this animal for parts. You're getting the sense that whatever it is she's doing right here, others around her seem to be unnerved by and giving her a wide berth. This process,
And that gives me a bit of a tug, unnerving myself. And I try to get closer, maybe even squat down as close as I can get.
Okay. And she looks up as you get closer, and you can see like a wry little smile, like her mouth kind of like a little crook. And as it does, like you see all these lines in her face just begin to like stretch in different directions. That's just this tiny bit of movement. And she looks at you, and her head tilts, and she stares at you. And you see her just kind of stand up a little bit, but even still, like she's a little hunched over. And she begins to move around this it's not a table so much as it's just like an elevated stone. And she moves around it in your direction. She kind of stands in front of you, eyeing you up and down. And then her head kind of tilts over towards your arm where the mouth is. You can see she's staring right at it.
Pointing at myself. Patrick.
She looks up at you. Doesn't say anything. But you can see with her right arm, she kind of points in the direction of right exactly where the mouth is.
I won't really reveal anything to her, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
I'll note that she knows something. And I'll
Okay.
point at her carcass. What is that?
She looks to where you're pointing, looks back to you. And you can tell she's trying to figure out how to communicate this to you. You're a white dude from Massachusetts. What the hell does she know how to talk to you? But you see her reach around and grab like a few things, and she like scoops it up, right? You can see her, she kind of like pats it together, and then like she comes over and she plucks a few like bits of these small white flowers, and you can see she looks around and she finds this small clay pot nearby and pulls out these like brown seeds, and she like kind of puts them all together in like this and she goes back not to the carcass that she's undoing, but you can see off to the side, like you can see there's other bits of like animal flesh, and you're not at this point, it's hard to tell exactly what it is, but she pulls like this stretch of sinew, right? And it's maybe like the length of your forearm and very thin. And she puts like the herbs and these little seeds, and you can tell she gets like this like butter fat, and she kind of smashes it all together. And she like jams it down like into this pouch, this like little leather pouch, and then she wraps like this sinew and this like camel hair to kind of tie it short. So like there's this pouch, and then like with her hands, she draws something on the side, and then she waddles back over towards you, and she points to your right hand, and she like extends her hand towards you. She's wanting you to offer it. And then she places in your hand this pouch that she just did something to.
Thanks, I guess. Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
She like sees you looking at it. She's kind of like just shaking her head. And it kind of just points to the arm, points to yourself. And she like shows like this motion of like you putting it inside of your shirt, like you have a like probably like a jacket or a thing on. So she's trying to show you what it looks like, and then she reaches out and she like lifts the flap of like your shirt and says to basically communicating like put it underneath the flap of your clothes.
And I'll stow away what you gave me.
Okay. And she nods and then just kind of pats you a little bit. And then she waddles back to what she was doing. You see her just ripping the innards out of this jack.
And I'll wander away from her.
Okay. A little while later, it's everyone. Okay. All of you eventually will return at some point, maybe just before sunset, having done whatever task that you wanted to do, talking to people, exploring, stealing stuff from your friends, whatever it might be. And eventually Louis and Pierre will return, but you still don't see Jerome. But Louis and Pierre will return, and you can see that they're like they have some camels with them and such, and when they come up to you, yeah, we have made some deals. We will transfer many of our supplies from the trucks to the camels themselves. We will plan to leave in the morning, unless there is more that you wish to do here.
I think.
Morning sounds good.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Very good. Yes. So, if you could lend me a hand, and if anyone is willing to assist, is anyone good with animals? Has anyone led a camel before? On the off chance.
I'm
Walking
a fast learner.
Good with
We have
animals.
cows on the farm.
Never camels.
Cows are very gentle and lovely creatures. Your cat is also surprisingly gentle. Camels are assholes. I'm not sure if you're familiar with this.
I think
they
you've
will-
mentioned that.
They can suck a nut, I believe is the phrase. Do not like them. They will bite you, and then they will talk about your mother, and then they will shit on her memory or some such. That is the kind of creature they are.
I would still like to
Nonetheless.
try.
Me too.
Of course you would. All right. If you both want to make, it depends what you're trying to do. Like animal handling is just leading it. And then there's ride if you guys decide to try to ride these things. So either one of those is fine. Depending
Animal
on what you're
handling.
doing.
Yeah,
Same.
60 in animal handling.
Okay.
Oh
I'm
my
going
gosh.
God.
Full bore with camels being assholes.
They are both 5 for me, so whatever.
And
Oh, no.
73.
Okay. How did you do, Marie?
Spend some luck.
I don't have
In terms
enough.
of 68 luck? I feel like
If
that's...
I had, I would.
okay, so quick question. With 1 level of
What's this thing?
heat, that animal handling, I assume, is a physical check.
I think so, because you're like literally
Yeah.
holding a lead.
Okay.
And
Oh,
you're
I didn't
keeping
even
them
think
calm.
about that.
Keeping them
Okay.
calm while like they're loading up all these packages and sacks and things like that on top of them.
Yeah, I rolled a 75 over 60, which is a 75 over 50. So yeah, I would be spending like literally all of my luck to pass that.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth it. Both of you have trouble. Shyma especially with her 73 over 5. But neither of you critically failed, so they don't go rushing off into the desert. But they do bite you at one point when you think you've managed to resolve your differences, and you think finally you understand them. You look off to the side, you kind of smile, maybe at Will or Patrick or Bev, and then suddenly you hear, ah, and you look over, and the freaking camel has just bit you. And so both of you take a point of damage.
Ow. Oh,
yeah, and you now have like this.
You were right. You were right. They are assholes. Yes.
Assholes. Yes, who bite. The worst kind of assholes are assholes who bite.
Just.
It is a saying in my village that I come from. The Normandy region. I don't know.
So rude. Whatever. So very rude.
Okay. So, is there anything else
that it's evening and we're not in the heat of the day? Will would like to go perform some cultural relations and make some friends with his booty.
I'm sorry, what?
With the stolen loot.
Okay. So what is it you're trying to do, Will?
He would like to go and look for like a communal gathering spot where like people are resting and relaxing before they go to sleep. And he wants to try and teach them a drinking game that he learned in Morocco.
Oh, for crying out loud, you're going to get killed. Okay. Sure. We'll say... Jesus. Okay. If you're looking for somewhere,
this is Patrick's fault for bringing the alcohol. It's
definitely by this like there's this spring. It's somewhat brackish, and there's like a built up stone wall in the sense of like it's stacked rocks and things, and that has kind of created this communal area. And you can see there's many people over there that are filling up, their skins and whatnot, and you can see people are there and kind of getting ready to depart, or in some cases they're just preparing to depart in the morning. And so you head over there. And you see all these different people, these men with spears and angry faces as you approach.
Would I see Jerome anywhere, or was he with our guys?
Give me a spot hidden.
All right.
Yeah, he left earlier.
I can do this.
Or so Bev thought.
That's a 95 over 45.
Oh, gosh.
Second 95 today.
Okay. At one point you think you spot him, like maybe talking to somebody between these sort of two tented areas. You see like it almost seems like it's animated, but then as you kind of move to get closer, like this line of camels passes in front of you, and by the time they pass through, you look around, he's not there.
Okay. Well, I'd go to the next friendliest person I see and gesture with the bottle of booze. And I think I'd take off like the cap of my canteen, which is like a small little cup, essentially.
Okay.
Shot glass size, and pour some in there. Because I don't want to hand anyone the bottle. I've learned my lesson. You just lose a canteen that way.
Describe this. So describe what it looks like as you do this.
Yeah. So I'm all smiles, and let's have a drink. Anyone? And I take a swig and I pour some out into this little cup, and I just gesture for anyone to take it.
Okay. And was it exactly as you just did it on the screen?
You're asking if it's my left hand?
Yeah, is it your left or your right?
I think that's fair. Because
No.
Will's right-handed, so he'd be holding the bottle with his right hand. That would be more comfortable for him.
Okay.
I didn't think about that till you asked, but that is what I did, so it's only fair.
As you extend to them, you see this kind of look of offense come over, and they look at it, and they look at you as if you are like as if you have just insulted them. And they don't like violently attack you or anything, but they look at you. And then one of them kind kind of spits on the ground, and then they kind of turn from you, and they go back to what they were doing.
You're muted,
Can't hear you.
Steven.
You're muted, Steven. Thanks for ruining the stream by being muted.
No, it's fine. And I take the drink myself and I pour another one and I gesture again. Come on, there's plenty to share.
They all seem to have like essentially turned and shunned you at this point. All of them have their backs to you. No one's really paying attention to you. Just kind of shouting into this area where everyone is being respectful and drinking. A few of them are talking to each other, but no one seems to be paying you any attention.
Does Shyma see any of this?
He said he was going off somewhere else, so I would say no.
Okay.
Not getting any attention is like the worst thing possible for Will. So he's very disappointed by this. And I think he would take another shot just to comfort himself and then just awkwardly walk away and just like holding out the drink the whole time he's walking, assuming he's not getting any different results, and then just start moping back to camp.
All right. So you mope back to camp, having been summarily rejected.
It hurts.
Yeah. And you can see like someone you realize is following you at a certain point. And as you get back to camp, they shout out in your direction. You have no idea what they say, but Captain Moreau does, who's near you, and he looks at you. You fool, what is wrong with you? I said best behave, get in the truck. You are no longer allowed
I tried to share. I wanted to share.
I said you have insulted them. You have offered them some sort of unclean offering. What is wrong with you? You fool.
No. It's clean. It's clean.
No. And he walks up
it just got
towards
opened.
you, and he snatches it from your hand. He just snatches it from you. You idiot. What is wrong with you? These people are kind. These people are good. And you come here and you insult them like this?
I did not insult anyone.
I should have put you in the shackles when you first landed in Djibouti. I knew I should have put you in the shackles. And he's like, and I'll say this, Shyma, if you want to hear this, you certainly could. So you can see this kind of happening where Louis is just dressing Will down in front of, and not trying to hide it. And it's just in ways that you've probably seen before, but he's doing it again.
I was being as kind as I possibly could. I offered them as much as they wanted.
There are customs to offerings. You fool, you don't just... From now on, you do not go anywhere alone. One of us will always be with you. If you need to take a shit, one of us is going with you. If you have the urge to go urinate, one of us is going with you. You are no longer trustworthy. Do you understand me? You act like a child, we will treat you like a child. Do you understand?
Fine. I gotta take a piss. Should we go together?
You will hold it, and you will go help Pierre set up the tent so that you can sleep this evening. Yes?
Fine. Yeah, I go and I walk over to Pierre, sulking.
Okay. Anybody else doing anything in the evening? Okay.
We will want to try to get one of those knives.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Are you still like moving around, we'll say? Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you see just a man kind of sharpening. Absolutely. He's like you could definitely see he's got like this camel that's like kneeled down to the side of him. You can see all these different things have been kind of packed on top of it. And you just see like he's just sort of sharpening this and sharpening that, sharpening this, because there and there on this like beautiful stone. He looks up at you when you approach.
And so Marie kind of brought whatever she could with her from kind of the trucks where there was some coffee and some other things, and she just sort of kind of holds them out and kind of points to the like one of the knives that's out there. beautiful, beautiful. And then she kind of like has this collection of things that she's hoping to trade.
You just like kind of motions to like hand over whatever it is you have.
Yep. And she does.
And he takes one thing and he motions again.
And she'll kind of hand the next thing over.
Takes the next thing over and he motions one more time.
And she kind of points to the knife and nods.
You can say, like, and you're on the same page. He's like basically kind of like there's like this. Yeah, definitely on the same page.
Third thing over.
He's a trader. He gets it. He understands.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. And he grabs it and he slides it into this sort of leather wrapping, and he sort of runs this kind of camel hair cord around it, and he hands it over to you.
And she will, kind of as she did before, kind of like just face lights up at, this and, just looking at the, the craftsmanship and everything with it. And she's tempted, and she sort of remembers that we're on our best behavior. She's tempted to try to say the thing that she heard before. And then in case it's wrong, because she hasn't asked anyone else yet, she's just going to say thank you. So she's just going to, thank you. Thank you.
He doesn't understand the words, but like you see him like kind of put his like a fist to his chest or his heart basically, and he kind of nods. And that's probably something that Bev, you would have been observing like occasionally, like there's like these little things here and there like that. You can definitely tell it's a basic gesture. It seems to be coming through quite regularly.
If you're done, Bev has one thing she would like to do before camp.
Go for it.
Bev would like to try and like share a meal with someone. So like if there's like a communal cooking space, she'll offer like granola or whatever she has on her.
You have granola on you?
Yeah, whatever snacks we've got.
How did you get that from me?
And try and like join the meal, like with gesturing, like offering, and then
give me an anthropology roll. I feel like with you're observant. You've been watching all day. You've been trying to sort of get a sense of how to join some of these little circles and groups and things. Let me know how you do.
63, even with the -10, it's a regular success.
Okay. I think it's safe to say that with your observation, you've found a spot, and for hours, like you've just been watching here and there and like gesturing and some have come up and like they've kind of pointed at this or that on you, and like you've done your best, and you could tell over time they've become the people in this little area have become more and more kind of inquisitive in some ways, and so maybe at some point you're kind of motioned over and you kind of sit around and like people are handing and you would notice, unlike Will, that right hand like that's what you're eating out of, and you're kind of turning and so like you can engage in it, and so you have more of that like kind of this sort of that sour milk that seems to be shared. You get like these chunks of like cheese and some dried kind of goat meat, you think maybe, that's kind of shared around here and there, and so yeah, you can engage in that, absolutely.
Yeah, because this is like totally her forte, because she wants the pursuit of knowledge and like cultures and stuff. So Bev's been eating this up today.
Okay. So we'll say then that eventually, as the sun falls and you return at some point to your camp outside of the settlement, and when you get back there, Bev and Marie, you actually know Bev, Marie, you would have already seen them. Fucking camels. There's camels all over the place. You can see Will is like being shadowed anywhere he goes with the by one of the French Foreign Legion. You can see like maybe Shyma and Jean are like laughing and off to the side, like sharing a cigarette or something like that. It's a very friendly, peaceful moment. Patrick, do you still tuck the thing in or are you doing anything with that little pouch?
I've just got it stored away for now.
Okay. And so I'll say then, as we close down this episode, the sun falls, you all begin to move to your tents to sleep. There is light that you can see a series of fires like off in the distance on top of a ridge that kind of illuminates the sky for a bit. And you can tell that it's a little unnerving. Like some of the camels kind of like you can see shift as it happens, but no one seems to say anything about it. But otherwise the sky gets filled up with stars and you sleep for the night. We'll end it there and we'll pick up on the camel leg of the journey next week. Oh boy.
Awesome.
Nice,
That's so
nice.
cool.
Camels are camels. They're the main boss of this whole entire campaign. They are a fucking
I
Lovecraftian
fucking
creature.
get it. I get
Okay, but
it.
Lewis is a pretty big jerk himself too. Like we can agree
You
on
don't-
that, right? He's
Oh,
been mean
Are
to
you
everyone
kidding
here.
me?
He's so
No.
suave and handsome. What are you
He's so
talking
kidding
about?
mean
me.
to everyone. I just,
Who is-
we
I
all
love
don't
him
like him.
too.
We all
so
hate him.
much.
Collectively dislike
You
him.
Everyone.
offered booze with your left hand. Like
You-
Double whammy.
it's so awful. Like it's so awful. Like they're too good of people to skewer you with their spears. They just don't even want to pay the time of day.
It was worth a shot. How great would it be to party with
honestly,
right?
it was delightful to watch.
It was-
It's just so sad.
It was honestly like a train wreck in slow motion. Like it had that energy.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Just the sadness that like Steven knows this. Will
Yes,
does
yeah.
not. The
And
dice roll said that Will doesn't.
Exactly, the dice roll well. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Okay. All right. Well, we will continue next week. I'm excited. This was I don't know. I'm excited. This is it's like I was telling Steven earlier today, like I'm getting overwhelmed because I'm reading and I'm reading and I'm reading. And it's just like there's so much. And I don't know. I'm probably screwing it up, but whatever.
No,
Let's
but it feels like I'd feel like I'm
It's
there. Like
fun.
I feel like I can like
I really
yeah.
do
It's
as
been great.
well. I love
Cool.
this.
Well, I'm glad you all are enjoying it. Let's do a little closing plugs. So Steven, if you would be so kind. Shut up. Maitreyi, where can we find you on the internet?
I'm Maitreyi's Games on YouTube where I make system agnostic or multi-system tabletop content that centers the GM and play experience.
Awesome. Steven, tell us a little about what you've been up to, man.
I made a tabletop RPG. It's called Huckleberry. It's a Weird West game. You can go to huckleberryrpg.com and get all the details. And we are playing it tomorrow. A couple people on the screen here are playing it. We're playing it on the Norse Foundry Twitch chat. And it is for Golisano Children's Hospital in Fort Myers. We're doing charity. And if you're
It's an extra
interested in
lecture.
Huckleberry, it is going on sale starting tomorrow. And all proceeds from the sale will be going to the charity as well. So pick it up and support a good cause.
Fantastic. Okay. As for the rest of what we do, Monday we're off. Tuesday we've got Perils and Princesses with Kipser running that. Thursday next week we've got Swords of the Serpentine. Friday next week should be a Dragonbane week, and then we'll be back on Saturday with more Call of Cthulhu. Also check out the YouTube page. All of our previous games are up there. All 900 plus video. We have over 900 videos.
so
which is
many.
crazy. A lot of those in the beginning were like the podcast, like the original podcast that started this, which sucks, that went up there. But we still have probably like, I don't know, 800, 750 actual videos of us doing stuff,
Mhm.
including some really embarrassing ones from the very beginning. But I'm leaving them up there because,
I
you
know.
know,
I go
it is
back
what
and
it is.
I look at them and I'm like,
Why?
oh.
just
Because I have
looking
to
at the
remind
overlay.
myself.
Yeah.
You're
Just looking
all
at the
so
overlay attempts that
cute.
Shinobi
Like
got
you're
me.
all so
Oh, God.
adorable.
I
and
was
like
so
baby
awkward.
face.
I'm awkward enough now. Multiply that by 100.
I've had to have so much plastic surgery just to not look as nasty as I did.
Shut up.
Almost gone bankrupt. All right. We're going to raid, let's see. We're going to raid Demon X. So they're playing, looks like some Cyberpunk Red. So follow that raid. Have a great rest of your night. We'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.
I'll be seeing you.